Well done, kids. Just one of the many things that makes the Bristol night race so special. When we come back, we'll get the engines cranked for the first elimination race of the 2024 Cup Series playoffs from Thunder Valley, Bristol, Tennessee.
A message from the Sonic Department of Research and...
All right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the NASCAR Cup Series Bristol Night Race 2024 edition. And yeah, we are live. A slight delay for the start of this stream here today. I was working the best I could to try to keep from having any lagging issues during the course of tonight's stream, as we had those issues uprising all the way throughout our NASCAR Xfinity Series race coverage and most of our practice and qualifying coverage for the Cup Series yesterday afternoon as well. So I was working desperately, basically, over the last just over an hour, just trying to do whatever I could, resetting my internet, trying to restart OBS. I tried dropping the KBPS, and it seems like that has worked, at least for the time being. There's still maybe lagging issues from time to time throughout the course of the stream, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as bad as what it was yesterday. I basically kind of ran a practice stream private that nobody saw for about the last half hour leading to the start of this while I was trying to figure that out. So this seems to work the best at this moment. So appreciate everybody holding out in the chat, and I think we're going to be ready to go here very shortly. You can see the starting lineup up on screen for tonight's race. We'll quickly go over the point standings coming into this one here today as well. As you see, Joey Logano is the only driver locked into the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs round of 12, and that is because of a win in the first race of the round, which ended up taking place at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Non-playoff driver Chris Buescher was the winner last weekend at Watkins Glen, so 15 drivers are vouching how we are going into this stream, or into this race, I should say. 46 points to the good is Christopher Bell. Austin Cindric is plus 43 points to the good, plus 41 for pole sitter Alex Bowman. Daniel Suarez starting deep in the field, but he is plus 36 points. Tyler Reddick, who came in as a regular season champion, plus 30, along with Chase Elliott also at plus 30. Plus 29 for Ryan Blaney, as he was plus 46 going into the last race. Lost a few points, only not even making an entire lap after a crash on the opening lap of the race at Watkins Glen last week. But again, plus 29, 8 seed for him right now. Kyle Larson, who came in as the number 1 overall seed, is plus 26. He was plus 15 last week, so he does gain 11 points on the cut line, even with a 12th place finish and a lack of stage points last week. William Byron plus 25 points, Chase Briscoe and Ty Gibbs plus 6. They're the last couple drivers above the cutoff line. First drivers out will be Denny Hamlin, minus 6, minus 12 for Brad Keselowski, minus 14 for Martin Truex Jr., Harrison Burton at minus 20. So all drivers still mathematically can't point their way in to the next round of the playoffs and more over the course of a 500-lap race under the lights at the last Great Coliseum. I'll play the USA Network broadcast until the next commercial break, and then we'll go through the starting lineup for tonight's race.
And that is something that I'm going to cherish. A race car for having fun is usually a fast one, Parker, and C-Bell is ready to chase his first Bristol win from the 6th starting spot.
That is a good time, Dylan. And for Alex Bowman, he comes in this race plus 41 above the cut line, so in a great position points-wise, but is sitting on the pole to the front of the field. He'll lead them to the green here tonight. This was a huge moment for the 48 team. It's been a year and a half of having to work on qualifying to improve it. They've started to do that as we got these summer months, and this was a statement made here yesterday where they were able to win the pole, his second at a non-drafting course in the NASCAR Cup Series. There's a ton of momentum for the 48 team, Kim.
Well, Parker, playoff driver Harrison Burton enters tonight's race 20 points below the elimination line. They know they need a big night here, and an uphill battle awaits them as they start 34th. The team told me there's not a good opportunity to turn in stage 2, then they still feel like they have a shot to advance to the next round. They also reminded me anything can happen here, and if they stay out of trouble, Marty, there's a real opportunity here for them tonight.
So, DJ, since their season is on the line, are the rules a little more relaxed as what you can and cannot do to advance? No, not really. I don't think I think it's a little more clear, but in today's world of NASCAR drivers, I don't know. I don't see somebody changing it. And I'll just read quickly a quote from Martin Truex Jr. to say that you're going to drive through everyone. It's just not in your DNA. He's going to race hard, but he's not going to wreck somebody.
Listen, we found out at Richmond, you can wreck your mama, but you can't wreck somebody else out. And Austin Dillon proved that. I think there's a line there, and that line was drawn at Richmond. You can't wreck people to move forward here. Not on purpose anyhow.
So, Kyle, as a playoff driver, how do you manage the chaos that is Bristol?
You know, the problem with chaos is things are out of your control. And for a lot of these drivers out here, or a handful of them anyhow, they're pulling in their hearts for some of those drivers that are already in to get up there and take those points and take those positions. So they can only control what they can control. They've got to go out and run their race.
Yeah, and controlling your emotions inside the car with everything that's going on. And, you know, we're going to see some things here with drivers getting upset. And something happened before this all took place. It's not the position you want to be in, but once you get out of there and you realize what has happened, you understand that controlling that inside the car is of utmost importance if you want to be around with an opportunity to win this race tonight. So, Kyle, as we look at the playoffs, is there a path where all of these drivers, maybe except Harrison Burton, can just point their way into the next round?
Listen, I'm going to say, after watching the Xfinity race last night, I'm not sure Harrison Burton's out either from a point perspective. Yeah. We saw some huge swings last night. So I think there's a way for everybody. But again, some of these guys that are below that cut line have to depend on those guys on the other side to have issues.
Yeah, I think you asked a question a while ago about what some are doing. Some people seem to have a lot of confidence in the little bit of buildup that they have in there. But go take advantage of that. Grab that right out from under it. And again, you don't know what's going to happen in this race.
Started. You had Alex Bowman out of round one. He's been the star of round one and on the pole tonight.
Listen,
what do they need to do this evening?
Listen, Alex Bowman needs to keep doing exactly what he said. Listen, anytime I pick him to be out in the first round, he goes to the final four. He goes all the way to be almost guaranteed. So I am pulling for Alex Bowman tonight to continue this streak.
DJ, as a driver, would you consider the Bristol night race one of the crown jewel events for the Cup Series?
100%. I mean, it is a race that when you become a Cup driver and get the opportunity to do this on a regular basis, Bristol Trophy and this victory lane is where you want to end up one night.
One of the biggest wins on the line tonight of the entire year. And also, does your postseason continue or not? We're about to find out. Let's get the engines cranked at Bristol.
Let's get ready to rumble. And now, here to say the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome Bass Pro Shops founder and noted conservationist Johnny Morris, CEO of the Army and Air Force Exchange, Tom Shull, civilian aide to the Secretary of the U.S. Army Ambassador, Staff Sergeant retired Shiloh Harris. They are joined by representatives of the more than 4,000 Bass Pro Shops veteran outfitters across North America. Hey, on behalf of all of us at Bass Pro, we are so proud to have the opportunity to sponsor the Great American Night Race, and we're really proud to dedicate this race to all those who defend our freedoms and to America's hunters and anglers, our nation's true conservationists. And one last thing, happy birthday, Richard Childress.
That wasn't very choreographed, but all right.
Time to get the playoff field from 16 to 12. The green flag for the night race at Bristol is next, right here on USA.
Quick thoughts on how the predictions for the playoffs have gone up to this point so far for me. So all my Championship 4 drivers seem to be in pretty good shape as to getting into the next round. My Championship 4 coming into the playoffs was Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, and Christopher Bell, with Christopher Bell being my championship pick for this year. All of those drivers are at least 26 points above the cutoff line. Kyle Larson would be last of those 4. I feel pretty confident that those guys will get in. I think Larson is currently 9th in the playoff standings coming into the night. He does have a good starting spot qualifying on the front row. So look out for Larson here this evening. And I even know Ryan Blaney, I think, will probably run the worst tonight of those Championship 4 drivers. He's still plus 29 points. He is one spot ahead of Larson, 8th in the standings coming in. If he just has a decent night tonight, stays out of trouble, finishes, top 15, top 20, gets some stage points. Even if he doesn't get any stage points, ends up with about a top 10, top 15, I think he'll get in no problem. I would be very surprised if we don't see any playoff drivers both above or below the cutoff line have any major problems in this race. We tend to see it. There's 16 playoff drivers. Bristol is a racetrack that a lot of cars go a lap down before the end of the race. The last several races here, in fact, look at the spring, only 6 drivers finished on the lead lap in that one. Look at even last year's night race and the night race before that, 2021, 2020, we had just over or under 10 cars finish on the lead lap in those races. So a lot of these playoff drivers are probably going to have some problems here in this one, and we'll have to wait to see exactly which ones will. Will be a guy that we were expecting to make it to the next round, a guy that we weren't expecting to make it to the next round. As far as the 4 drivers I had eliminated in the round of 16, I had Harrison Burton, Chase Briscoe, Daniel Suarez, and Austin Cindric. Cindric is in the best shape to make it to the next round, even though he did not qualify well. He is plus 43 points. Suarez also didn't qualify well, plus 36. They're not a guarantee to make it to the next round by any means, especially starting that deep in the field. But as long as they finish this race, again, kind of what I said with Ryan Blaney, finish, maybe get a top 20, I think they should be able to secure their way in. And that's if the drivers below the cutoff line that are trying to chase them have a pretty good day. And of course, if we end up getting one of them winning the race, which would automatically lock them in, because a couple of them are definitely capable in doing so. That leads me into who I think is going to run well tonight. I think JGR is going to be the team to beat. I know Hendrick Motorsports locked up the top 3 positions in qualifying yesterday. I think they'll be quick too, but I think JGR is going to be that one step ahead. Denny Hamlin has won the last 2 races at Bristol, and Toyota's dominated the race in the spring earlier this year. So if we see a lot of tire fall, they're also starting up towards the front of the field. Not quite as high as Hendrick Motorsports, of course, as a whole, but 3 of the 4 qualified in the top 10, and Ty Gibbs was fastest in practice yesterday overall as well. Gibbs led the most laps in this race earlier this year, won the first 2 stages, had good short run speed, and it was Denny Hamlin who had good long run speed. Him and Truex finished 1-2 in that race. If we don't see a lot of tire fall off, they do have track position for the start of this race. And again, Hamlin did win the night race last year with not a lot of fall off. That's a team that knows how to execute with the pit strategy standpoint. Chris Gabehart, one of the best crew chiefs in the garage. I do think Denny Hamlin makes his way above the cutoff line at the end of the race, even if he doesn't win. I think Martin Truex Jr. is going to have the speed to be able to do it. Can they make it to the end of the race? That's something they have struggled with for a large portion of this season. I would be shocked at this point if a JGR Toyota does not go to victory lane. I'm leaning towards Hamlin as the winner, so he is my pick for this evening. So those are some last-minute predictions. We'll highlight the Fantasy League. You can join our NASCAR Fantasy League on the NASCAR.com website or the NASCAR mobile app. Go to the Fantasy Live tab on the top of NASCAR.com. I'll have to back up a page real quick. So as you see the quick link section here as I'm on NASCAR.com, there'll be a Fantasy Live tab. You'll click that. Sign up with your email. It is free to join. You can join our league. It's the KRC League. KRC in all caps, space, capital L on league. I will put that in the chat real quick. Obviously, if you're not in the league already, you're probably not going to win our playoff championship, but you'll be in the league for when next season begins. You have a chance to win 2 tickets to any NASCAR race if you're choosing if you win our league championship for the regular season and or playoffs. For this playoffs only, we're giving a grand prize to the top 2 finishers. So as we look at the top 2 finishers so far through the first 2 weeks of the playoffs, we'll go to our playoff standings. Monster Jam X10, by the way, was our regular season champion. And Inside Uranus, who won last year's playoff and regular season championship, is off to a hot start through the first 2 playoff races at 417 points, is our current points leader, but only by a mere 21 points over Frank T26, who's actually runner-up in the regular season standings. Nathan Daniel Power sits 3rd with 379 points in a tie with Monster Jam X10. Monster Jam X10, again, was our regular season champion. And rounding out our top 5 at 359 points is Sauce Mafia and Austin Dillon Fan. So it'll be interesting to see how that shapes up over these final 8 races once again as well. So as far as this race goes here this evening, here's your starting lineup on screen. We'll go through this quickly. Alex Bowman on the pole for the first time this season, looking for his first oval win of the year. Has won an oval since Vegas of 2022. Finished in the top 5 in the Bristol Spring Race earlier this year. Kyle Larson, a multiple Bristol winner. 2021, his first career Bristol Night Race win, and he is starting on the front row as well. William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., a couple more playoff drivers will start in row 2. I mentioned Truex below the cutoff line, Byron in a comfortable spot above it. Chase Briscoe only plus 6 points coming into the race tonight. He's going to need quite a bit of points in this race. Starting top 5 is good start for him, but he's got to put a full 500 laps together as well. Christopher Bell, who is quick in practice and qualifying, will be starting in row 3 as well. Carson Hocevar, another top 10 start this season. He'll be rolling off inside of row 4 with Hamlin, the last 2-time Bristol race winner, to his outside. Corey LaJoie, Chase Elliott in row number 5. Elliott won the All-Star race at Bristol in 2020, but he has not won a points-paying race here. We'll see if he can do that today. Bubba Wallace with Ross Chastain will line up in row number 6. Chastain led the most laps at Watkins Glen last week as a non-playoff driver, so maybe look for him to potentially upset the field today as one of the favorite non-playoff drivers for the second consecutive week. Ty Gibbs and Ryan Preece will line up in row number 12. Gibbs comes into this race just above the cutoff line, +6. He's the last driver in coming into the race tonight. Tyler Reddick, Noah Gragson make up row number 8. Chris Buescher and Michael McDowell in row 9. Buescher, the 2022 race winner here at Bristol. AJ Allmendinger, Joey Logano line up in row 10. Again, Logano, the only playoff driver locked into the next round with a win. Daniel Hemrick, Ryan Blaney in row 11. Blaney looking to complete more than a lap tonight, and he'll already surpass what he was able to do at Watkins Glen last week. Starting in the back half of the field, Penske has struggled at Bristol in the next-gen era, so not a lot of high expectations for him to compete for the win here this evening, but at least looking to make it to the next round is a priority for that 12 team. Brad Keselowski also trying to make it to the next round, but he's got a huge hurdle to climb, starting deep in the field. The good news is he did finish 3rd in the spring race this season. He'll be starting deep in the field, though, again, inside of row 12. Ty Gillen to the outside in that row. Josh Berry with Justin Haley will line up in row 18. Row 19 for Austin Cindric and John Hunter Nemechek. Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, the RCR boys starting junior Eric Jones. Zane Smith, Harrison Burton in row 17. Daniel Suarez, the worst qualifying playoff driver. He'll be starting inside of row 18 with Kaz Grala to his outside. And Josh Bilicki rounds out our field of 37 cars tonight, all alone in row 19. And that is your Bass Pro Shops Bristol Night Race starting lineup for 2024. Again, appreciate everybody tuning in for this stream here today. Hopefully you enjoy our full flag-to-flag coverage of this race. Scheduled distance, 500 laps at the Bristol Motor Speedway. 125 laps, I do believe, in stages 1 and 2. And then the second half of the race, 250 laps, will make up our third and final stage of the evening. 1 to go signal given to the crews this time by, and we will go racing the following time by around the world's fastest half mile. Regina Huddleston, Ken Kukowski, Frank Powers, thanks for tuning in. XX Larry, Robert Mason, John Barber, Jeff Henson, JoJo, Wade, Susan Greenland, and many others. Welcome into the stream. You guys are the first in the chat for this one down below. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Live commentary streams every NASCAR race weekend like this, as we are about to go green here at Bristol. Tonight's coverage is on the USA Network, so if you're wondering visually where you can watch it, that is where. Bowman leads the field off turn 4. Green flag is in the air in front of a packed crowd of over 100,000 here at the Bristol Motor Speedway tonight. Great start for Alex Bowman, already jumping to the outside lane and clear off turn 2 on this opening lap of the race. He'll circuit around to lead lap 1 under green. Well, Martin Truex Jr. from 4th was able to get into 2nd place. Kyle Larson, who started inside row 1, falls to 3rd. Side by side for 4th between the Hendrick Chevy of Byron and the Toyota at JGR of Christopher Bell. Byron won that spot for position. Larson quickly attacking for 2nd on Truex. Got it. Near contact between Truex and Byron for 3rd as Truex chopped the 24's nose off to get back down into the bottom groove. Outside lane was prominent during both the truck race in the second half and most of the Xfinity race last night. It's the first rubber being laid on the track here today, so it may take a little bit for the outside to come in, but it probably will be the preferred line by the end. A couple drivers already trying to get that line to work in the early going and get it rubbered in, and that would be Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott. May lose some positions down on the bottom of the racetrack for right now, but maybe getting a feel for how their car can work running there in the early going. Caution is out already. Lap 4, John Hunter Nemechek has gone around. Looks like he backed it into the outside wall. I would imagine there was some contact. Looks to be right off the exit of turn 4. And definite damage on that 42 car. We'll see if he'll be able to continue. It's not heavy body damage, but damage nonetheless. And actually, it didn't look like there was any contact. Looked like he just lost it. So right off the exit of turn 4, Nemechek gets loose back in the field and backs it into the outside wall. Again, under caution for the first time today at Bristol. Again, just lap number 4. Replay was showing that he had made contact with his teammate, Eric Jones, on the back straightaway, and it looked like he was out of shape pretty much all the way into the center of the corner before losing control. So the contact that initially might have taken Nemechek out with his teammate Eric Jones was actually off turn 2, and he was sideways basically all the way to the exit of 4 by the time he finally lost it. Surprised he was able to keep it from spinning out on him before that. He's down on pit road.
You got to be giving it 100%. If you overstep your bounds, any at all, these types of things happen. Alex.
All right, so yeah, early caution here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Appreciate everybody tuning in once again. By the way, congratulations, I do believe, to my Michigan Wolverines. I believe they won today. I didn't get to catch the final minute or so of that game because I was working diligently on trying to get this stream up and running for you guys, of course. But I do believe they ended up winning a close one against USC tonight. Gonna check the final score. Watch, they actually lost and I missed the end of the game. Watched most of it up until then. They did hold on, 27-24. I knew they scored a touchdown when I wasn't watching anymore in the final minute, because I was still looking at the score. I saw the big run that put them down into the red zone, but glad they sealed it. 4th and goal they ended up scoring on, so it was definitely a tight one. And had the lead for most of it till mid-4th quarter, but they pulled it off. So any other Michigan Wolverine fans out there who also thought that we were going to lose by a lot coming into the game today, we pulled off the upset. Link and Kim Hollingsworth, thanks for tuning in. You will pass 22K. I hope so. It's going to be a while. I'm just working on trying to get to 6K right now. Got to take it 1,000 at a time. Every subscriber at a time, really. It is free, so definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet for more daily NASCAR content. Again, under caution for the first time here tonight at the Bristol Motor Speedway. It's where we see a few green flag runs of longer than 100 laps. We'll see if we end up having that here today. And that doesn't matter really what car we are in. And usually those longer green flag runs is where you see the best Bristol racing because of lap traffic coming into play, and there's really nowhere to go for the leaders. The way the Xfinity race was playing out last night, the 2012 Bristol. 2012, 2013 Bristol, when the outside near the wall was the preferred line, and that could be where we're trending here for this one, but we'll have to wait and see just to make sure. Early going to this race, everybody's around the bottom, and that was expected. Again, no rubber on the outside. And there's no PJ1 or resin down on the bottom of the racetrack this weekend like there was in the spring. But the same tire is obviously in play from the spring, although we didn't see as much fall off during practice yesterday. It was a full 45-minute practice session for the Cup Series teams. No group practice sessions that were going on. A lot of drivers ran over 100 laps in total on a couple different sets of tires through that session. So they got a pretty good read for how their cars may handle coming into the night, although night conditions versus day conditions in practice, that could change the handling quite a bit as well. Green flag is in the air. Another great restart for Alex Bowman. Clear well before getting into turn 1. Gets down in front of his teammate Kyle Larson. Larson putting the battle up for Truex again for second. Larson got that spot a couple laps into the race before the caution came out, and he got it back on the restart off turn 4. Truex tries to hold off William Byron, who's just behind him. Bell on the outside lane, going wide intentionally as he battles with the 14, but not enough grip up there. Got a bit loose off turn 2. Lost the spot to Briscoe. Hocevar now underneath him, looking for another spot as well. Hamlin and Wallace tight through 3 and 4 as they battle for position. Bubba on the outside, Hamlin on the bottom. Ty Gibbs stuck in the outside lane from the restart as well as he battles. Car battling him for a spot is Corey LaJoie in the 7. It was announced that Corey LaJoie will be swapping rides with Justin Haley in the 51 at Rick Ware Racing beginning next weekend at Kansas. a little driver trade, driver swap mid-season. And that will be the case for the remainder of 2024. Although it was, I believe, announced that Haley will be at Spire Motorsports next season. And they are obviously beginning that here at the end of this year, but full-time next season. Corey LaJoie has not been signed to Rick Ware Racing at the moment, at least for next year. So a little bit of a tryout period for him over the next several weeks. Qualified top 10 this weekend. Good start in his final start at Spire. And he's coming in off a top 10 finish a week ago in 8th. In fact, all 3 Spire Motorsports Chevys finished in the top 8 last weekend. And host of our the career best 3rd place finish in that race, Zane Smith, also had a top 5, finished 5th. Ethan Chua, thanks for tuning in. Won't race next year. You're thinking LaJoie in general won't race next year? We'll see. Even if it's not in the Cup Series, like he'll run part-time something. This obviously isn't the last I don't think we'll see of Corey LaJoie. Still in his early 30s. Funny how I was talking about it, and then like right after I started talking about it, the USA Network coverage started talking about it. I'll beat him to it. Just like Bowman's beating the field right now. Still ahead of Kyle Larson by about a half a second or so. Bowman has led the first 21 laps of this race. Larson in second as of right now, again a half a second back. Martin Truex Jr. 1.7 seconds off the lead in third. 4th place is Chase Briscoe. Fourth place William Byron. Byron 2.5 seconds off the lead. Chase Briscoe is 2.9 seconds back at 5th. So again, that is the top 5. As Bowman gets to lap 23 at the line this time by. About 5 seconds separating the top 10 in the positioning order. No lap traffic yet, of course, with that early caution on lap 4.
This racetrack event immediately after the Watkins Glen race was over. Chris Gabehart told Denny, we're going to Allen House next week. But tell, this is Bristol. This is 500 laps at the Bristol night race. How can the 11 team have so much confidence they'll advance at the end of the night?
They win. When they come here, they win races. They constantly run in the front. And that is what builds confidence.
Going for the hat trick of wins is the 11. Meanwhile, the race leader is going for the kill. Alex Bowman has already just about caught Josh Bilicki and is about to begin the lapping process. There's the margin right there.
And it happens quickly. 15 green flag laps on this run, and they've caught the backs of passing. And 2 playoff drivers, Harrison Burke, Daniel Suarez, and actually Keselowski and Spindrick, they're not far from the leader.
And I know we haven't seen any issues this weekend, but it's the same Goodyear tire we had in the spring diff.
That's right.
Had a ton of wear, forcing cars to pit under green. It was a chaos type race. There's confidence, understand it, but it's still in the back of everyone's mind. It's in the back of my mind. Only 28 laps into the race. We still have 98 to go in this stage. Can this pace around the bottom, can this tire withstand this pace?
Yeah, we didn't see any issues in practice, right? Nothing. But they didn't in the spring either. And then chaos erupted.
And you'll notice that color change on the low line here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Yesterday, there was some grip resin put down. That was 4 feet in width. And then earlier today, they put down some more the peach line. So we'll see what kind of impact that has as the race goes on, as far as we talk more about tire degradation, grip levels, etc. As we take you back and show you something.
Well, that's something I did not know. Okay, so they didn't have to deal with the resin or PJ1 for practice yesterday. They didn't apply it to the track, but maybe after the Xfinity race last night being a battle for the top lane and the top lane only, couldn't really make passes down on the bottom because the top was that dominant. Sounds like NASCAR again earlier the racing line, so maybe going to make the bottom a little bit more competitive. As again, we are seeing that off the start at least. Kyle Larson battling for the race lead now with Alex Bowman at the very front of the field, working the outside lane to perfection as he gets alongside Bowman. Bowman led that last lap by inches at the line. Alex continuing down on the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Larson clear off turn 2 on the back straightaway. Lap 34, Larson out ahead of the field here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, trying to win yet another career Bristol night race. And of course, trying to keep himself in position to make it to the round of 12 of the playoffs. We run have Alex Bowman at plus 62, plus 55 for Christopher Bell. Obviously, that is dictating that they will finish where they are running right now, not only for the race, but at the end of both stages. So that will factor in throughout the night. We'll have a better idea when they get out of stage 3 of exactly how many points to the good a certain driver is over another. I was going to go through the full list, but the screen changed so quickly I couldn't go through it all. So all you got was those top couple from me for right now. When we get into that final stage, though, I think that graphic's going to stay up all the way through the stage, I would imagine, especially with this being an elimination race here tonight. Again, round of 16 elimination here at Bristol. 4 drivers will be eliminated from championship contention. 12 will be obviously race set for Kansas to begin that round next weekend. Round of 12 races will be Kansas, Talladega, Charlotte, Roval. Round of 8 races after that would be Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville, and of course the finale at Phoenix yet again this year. Lap 40. We'll check our race stats as of right now here in stage 1. Alex Bowman led the first 32 laps. Kyle Larson now has led the last 8. Bowman started on the pole. Larson started second. Those are the only 2 drivers to lead. We had a caution on lap 4. Incident in turn 4 involving John Hunter Nemechek single car spin. Nemechek does continue in the race, but he is 6 laps down. And the only other car off the lead lap currently is Josh Bilicki, who lost his lap just recently to Kyle Larson. Larson working through the back of the field as of right now. A lot of heavy lap traffic in front of the leader, so this can tighten things up at the front of the field, not just with the top 2, but even third place, Martin Truex Jr. now within a half a second of the lead as well. Byron less than a second off the lead, so things are getting interesting, as they usually are at Bristol, with lap traffic in play in this longer green flag run. Larson having to go to the bottom of the racetrack to try to work by Nemechek and put him another lap down, while Alex Bowman and Martin Truex Jr. also running the bottom of the track in the dirty air behind Larson. Bowman had to lift, got really tight in the center of 1 and 2, and Truex is now all over him. Truex goes to the outside and try to capitalize on that loss of momentum from Bowman. More speed on the front straightaway here for Truex, but a few too many car lengths back to try to pounce and get underneath them. Bowman beats him to the bottom with ease into 1 and 2. Replay of a little bit of contact between the 14 and the 5. Off of one of the corners just a couple laps ago, so that held Larson up a little bit as well. We'll go through the full field running order. Lap 46 here on the channel. Kyle Larson, our race leader. Alex Bowman, second. Martin Truex Jr., third. William Byron, fourth. And Chase Briscoe is fifth. Sixth for, Christopher Bell, fifth now. So Bell just made a pass for position. So Bell in fifth. Briscoe, sixth. Carson Hocevar still in seventh. Bubba Wallace, eighth. Denny Hamlin, ninth. Ty Gibbs is 10th. Corey LaJoie, 11th. Chase Elliott, 12th. Joey Logano, 13th. Noah Gragson, 14th. And Ryan Preece, 15th. Ryan Blaney up to 16th. Michael McDowell, 17th. Ross Chastain, 18th. Tyler Reddick, 19th, and A.J. Allmendinger is 20th. Chris Buescher, 21st. Daniel Hemrick, 22nd. Josh Berry, 23rd. Austin Cindric, 24th. Austin Dillon, 25th. 26th for Zane Smith. Brad Keselowski, 27th. Daniel Suarez, 28th. Eric Jones, 29th, and Harrison Burton, 30th. Kyle Busch in 31st. Justin Haley, 32nd. Todd Gilliland, 33rd. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. last car in the lead lap at 34th. Kaz Grala, lap down, 35th. Josh Bilicki, 2 laps down, 36th. And John Hunter Nemechek 6 laps down at 37th, but all 37 cars are still on the track, and now Larson is led for 16 laps. Just over 17 minutes from the drop of the green flag to where we are right now, lap 51 of 500, and lap 51 of 125 in stage 1. Again, stage splits tonight, 125, 125, and 250 in stage 3. Average race speed is currently 95.36 miles an hour, with, again, that only caution on lap 4. We'll take our first ad break of the stream. You're listening live on KRC to the Bass Pro Shops Bristol Night Race for the NASCAR Cup Series.
That QR code to the right of your screen, scan it now and get charged up during the NASCAR playoffs with a chance to win an all-electric 2024 Ford F-150 Lightning Flash, or visit NASCAR.com/Ford Playoffs promo to enter. And good luck as we welcome you back to some good old-fashioned Saturday night short track racing under the lights. The NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. This is the Bass Pro night race here in Bristol. And Kyle Larson, with the laps that he has led so far tonight, that pushes his total here at this track north of 900 laps led in his Cup career. And he is at the top of that order as well for the 2024 season. The 5 has been strong despite the setbacks and despite him coming into this playoff race, this crucial playoff race, a little lower up in the playoff standings than where he would like with what went down at Watkins Glen last weekend and the big crash in Atlanta. Steve, strong start from Truex. Very strong, but that's really been the signature of their year. It's not been speed. It's not been slow starts to races. It's been execution, luck, some of their own doing, some of the others doing. You know, this team really, it turned cold. The faucet turned off. Everything went away. Look at the last 7 finishes. That does not look like the future Hall of Famer that Mark Truex Jr. is. In his last full-time season, I know James Small would love to put it back in victory lane. That's Truex's crew chief. He would love to first advance out of this round. He's going to have a really good night to do that tonight. I love this right here. This is a camera angle taking a peek. We got a peek on a fuel pit boxes. That's James Small right there, hand up on the headset, talking to either his team or to Truex. They have intercom as well. You see the attention, the nerves, a little bit of fidget. Diff, I know you know James well. You know, I think talking to him, he's lighthearted, but he feels the pressure. He knows what's on the line. Yeah, for sure. He said, so too, it's been noticeable in the last little while with Martin. He's ticked up the intensity, spent a lot of time on the sim this week, fully engaged to make these playoffs and this playoff run continue in his last full-time season in Cup.
You see right here, Kyle Larson, he has caught Daniel Suarez. Daniel's struggling just a little bit. He's lost several spots in the last few laps. He's running the bottom. Kyle Larson running the top. Suarez still going to the bottom. Daniel's just not happy with his car right now. If you go a lap down this race, Steve, it doesn't mean your day is over. There's a lot of racing left to go. You got to keep fighting hard.
Yeah, 1 lap down is kind of status quo sometimes at Bristol, right? You just don't want to get to 2 down. You mentioned Suarez. A little surprised he didn't move up to the top, Marty. That's where the 5 really loves to be. I thought that would be more defensive.
Steve, they asked him a couple of laps ago, can you try to run the top? That's what Larson is making up all of his time. And he said, I just can't run the top. I don't know what to tell you. I talked to Matt Swiderski, his crew chief, this afternoon, and he said, we knew coming in as much as we could in the first 2 races. They built up a 36-point cushion. But Steve, with the speed that they have, going down the lap this early, just 66 laps into the race, how concerned are you right now if you're Matt Swiderski with what the 99 has?
Well, unfortunately, when you have speed like the 99 currently has, it's no longer in your hands. Yeah. Right now, you need other drivers to not perform at their best. He's currently 1 point above because he's running in the 31st position. If that's all they can muster, it's not an effort thing, right? And they're trying. But if that's all they can muster, then they need help. You never want to depend on other drivers to kind of give you points. You want to go out and earn them yourself.
By the way, as you see, a good scrap going on here between Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe. Don't forget that just up the road from Daniel Suarez is Harrison Burton and Brad Keselowski, 2 fellow playoff drivers who also have Kyle Larson really closing in tightly on them. They'll be fighting hard to stay on the lead lap. So there's Eric Jones. He's going to go down a lap here. Larson on the inside, or momentarily. Kyle Busch, Harrison Burton, Brad Keselowski are the next ones on Larson's list.
And Harrison's picked up 5 spots since the start of this race, since the restart. And now he's a little quicker than Keselowski, but I think Kyle Busch is a little quicker than both of them. So Harrison's trying the bottom because you're not going to pass him on the top. Keselowski just isn't going to give it to him. And this is where it gets really difficult, Steve, trying to make these passes at Bristol with that outside working.
Yeah, because as he's committed to packs the 6, you see the 8 close in. And when he fills that, fortunately for these two,
Kyle Busch and Eric Jones are doing their job. They have the top occupied. They told Kyle Larson, we're not even going to give you the time of day. You can have the bottom every corner, every lap, and we're sure you're going to get by us, but it's going to take multiple laps. 52 to go in the opening stage. Here in the Bass Pro Shops night race. And Kyle Larson, after watching teammate Alex Bowman start from the pole, has been the class of the field, leading 41 laps so far. The reason the frustration build at the short track is not just the close confines and the pushing and the shoving. It's what we see right here off the rear bumper of the Cheddar's cam of Kyle Busch. Kyle Larson is passing Eric Jones 3 inches at a time. And that is so tedious. These are guys that normally kind of catch you, make a pass, and go by. Now, Kyle Larson's going to work on the 8. Watch how many laps this takes for him to work up next to the 8, with the 8 carrying this momentum to run on the top. 49 to go. Things are moving fast here on a Saturday night in Bristol. It was Joey Logano in Atlanta who got off to the ideal start in the playoffs. Watkins' plan was simply wild, and it stamped its mark on these playoffs. What's Bristol got in store for us tonight?
Working lap 78, lap 80 in tonight's Bristol night race. As of right now, Kyle Larson has led the most laps in this one, barely, over Alex Bowman in the 48. 47 laps led for him, 32 for the pole sitter Bowman. Bowman still remains in second. Not seeing a whole lot of tire fall off in this one here this evening like it would have been expected based off of the spring race earlier this year. Only 0.7 of a second of fall off at this point in these first 80 laps. So, track position is going to be key. And pit strategy is probably going to be a huge factor in this one here today, kind of like it is on most of these next-gen races on short tracks. Unfortunately, that is the case again here tonight. But lap traffic obviously could cause for more passing as well. Just haven't seen that for the lead outside of the initial pass between Bowman and Larson. That was well before they got into lap traffic. But Larson again out ahead, 0.7 of a second ahead of Alex Bowman. Sitting in third place right now is Martin Truex Jr. at 1.9 seconds off the lead. 2.3 seconds back is William Byron in fourth. Christopher Bell rounds out the top 5 at 2.5 seconds back. Chase Briscoe in 6, 2.7 seconds back. Denny Hamlin 3.1 seconds off the lead in 7. Ty Gibbs in 8 is 3.7 seconds off the lead. Bubba Wallace 4.5 seconds back in 9th. Carson Hocevar rounds out the top 10. He's 6.1 seconds behind leader Kyle Larson. Average race speed 103.25 miles per hour. And we're only about 25 minutes from the drop of the green flag initially to where we are right now. Still the only yellow lap 4, as obviously the longest green flag run of the race is the current one we are at right now, which is over 70 laps long. 28 cars on the lead lap. Kyle Busch first car lap down. Harrison Burton playoff driver last car on the lead lap. At this moment, Brad Keselowski also tail end of the lead lap in 27th. As far as all the playoff drivers, this is where they're running right now. Larson first, Bowman second, Truex third, Byron fourth, Bell fifth, 11th, Joey Logano 13th, Ryan Blaney 14th, Tyler Reddick 19th, 23rd, Austin Cindric 27th, Brad Keselowski 28th, Harrison Burton, Daniel Suarez lapped down in 31st, and not in that pre-pass position as of right now. So those are the playoff drivers and where they are running. Suarez is the only one that is not on the lead lap. And he's been lacking pace all weekend. He was outside the top 30 in practice yesterday, outside the top 30 in qualifying as well. So a big struggle for him right out of the gate here in this one, pretty much all weekend though, and it's not getting any better as we're in the middle of the race now. Closest battle for position in the top 5 is the battle currently for 4th between William Byron and Christopher Bell. Byron's been holding Bell off for quite some time, but he's starting to hold up not just Bell, but Briscoe and Hamlin, who are also pretty tightly to the back of the 20 car. Ty Gibbs also battling Denny Hamlin for position. Stage points on the line, of course, for the top 10 spots, and we only have 35 laps to go as of right now in Stage 1. Current playoff bubble looks like this. You got Tyler Reddick plus 7 points, plus 6 for Chase Briscoe, and then plus 1 point for Daniel Suarez and Martin Truex Jr. Ty Gibbs at minus 1 point as we run. Denny Hamlin minus 4. Brad Keselowski minus 38. Harrison Burton minus 47. Again, they're at the tail end of the lead lap. And in fact, actually on screen, Harrison Burton has just gone a lap down. Even more problematic for him, and there's a lot of cars on the tail end of the lead lap right in front of the current leader, Kyle Larson. So that is where we stand for the moment. Again, that will change quite a bit as we haven't even seen our first pit stop of the race to this point. And probably will continue not to see it until we get to the end of stage 1 or the next caution, whatever happens first. Definitely don't plan on anybody pitting under green here in this first stage. And the only chance that they would have to pit under green at all in tonight's race would be in stage 3. As for fuel purposes, they don't have to pit at all in stage 1 or stage 2, assuming that they pit during the stage end at stages 1 and 2. 2.5 lead for Larson over Bowman now, his largest lead, I do believe, of this race. Bowman may be struggling a little bit more in lap traffic currently than Larson. Either that or it has freed up a bit more in front of the 5 car. Hard to believe Reddick's only plus 7 points, though, as of right now. Running back in the 19th place position. Definitely not a good start to the night. Good news is he does have a few drivers between himself and the cut line right now. Larson trying to put Brad Keselowski a lap down late in this stage, working at almost lap 100 already. A little less than a half hour into the race. Lap 99 at the line. Larson on the inside of Keselowski. Brad trying to run the outside and make it harder for Larson to make this pass. Longer it takes Larson to get by the 6, who has a slower pace. More of a chance Bowman will have of trying to close that gap back on his teammate for the lead again. Larson may have to try to go to that outside lane and build up more momentum before charging to the bottom on Keselowski. Maybe his car's too tight on this old of tires. I know there isn't a lot of fall off, but still 100 laps on them. I mean, 0.8 of a second of fall off is quite a bit. Not for a 100 lap run by any means, but in the grand scheme of things, no surprise there. Surprising Keselowski struggling as bad as he is right now. Obviously, the track conditions are nowhere near the same as what they were earlier this season, with no tire fall off versus a ton of tire fall off in that spring race. But Keselowski again finished 3rd at Bristol earlier this year, and here tonight, tail end of the lead lap, 27. Even his teammate Chris Buescher kind of off, considering he won this race just 2 years ago. Buescher currently running in 20th. Fresh off a win a week ago. Larson clear off turn 2 on Keselowski, but wasn't aggressive enough to slide up early in the middle of the corner. Now he is going to clear high for sure off turn 4. Keselowski going to try the crossover, but now Larson goes to the outside and pulls away. So that takes Harrison Burton out of the free pass position. And actually, Burton's been passed on track by a couple of cars. Eric Jones and Kyle Busch have both passed him anyway. So now Brad Keselowski's hoping nobody else goes a lap down in front of him so he can at least get the free pass. Zane Smith is now the last car in the lead lap in front of Larson. Side-by-side battle for position between Chase Briscoe and William Byron. Christopher Bell, meanwhile, not only passed Byron, but passed Truex for 3rd. And Bell has been the fastest car in the racetrack the last several laps. So Christopher Bell is able to make passes inside the top 10, top 5. We haven't seen many drivers be able to do that. So maybe Bell's the favorite to win this race as we continue on. Bell was in the best points paying situation coming into the night, plus 46. Has a chance to mathematically lock himself into the next round based off stage points here in these first couple stages as well. If we get any word on who may or may not be good to go on points through the first stage or two tonight, obviously I'll let you know. 1.7 second lead still for Kyle Larson. Alex Bowman again in second is 1.7 seconds back, as I already stated. 2.3 seconds off the lead now is Christopher Bell, 0.2 quicker than Larson that last lap, who leads. Marchex Jr. 2.9 seconds back at fourth. William Byron in fifth, 3.4 seconds off the lead. That is the top five. 15 laps to go, stage one. Side-by-side commercial break. As of right now on the USA Network, you're listening live on KRC. Ryan Berwick, thanks for tuning into the stream, as well as Billy Kramer. Appreciate you tuning in as well. And everybody else that's been watching throughout this stream, our goal is 150 likes. We're currently at 48 in the early going, so be sure to hit that like button if you guys have not done so yet. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, including live race commentary streams like this every NASCAR race weekend for Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series races, as well as Cup practice qualifying streams every week. I didn't go over who I had on my fantasy team for tonight. I do have Alex Bowman, Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson in my starting five. Ty Gibbs is in my garage right now. I believe Gibbs is the worst driver of them, currently in 8th. So sitting pretty for the early going. Head-to-head matchups, I had Hamlin over Larson because I did pick Hamlin to win. Keselowski over Truex. That isn't looking great right now, but you never know what could happen, I guess. Gibbs over Briscoe and Elliott over Blaney. Oh man, 66, very slow. Leader's getting around him at a blistering pace. 3 wide in the back half of the top 10 now after Bilicki slowed up Briscoe and Hamlin. Gibbs got underneath both cars initially, and they merged off of the exit of turn 4, and now they're single file down the backstretch into 3 and 4 the following lap. Hamlin makes the pass on Briscoe for position. Ty Gibbs trying to pounce as well. Again, stage points are going to be awarded here in 9 more laps, so all these drivers in the top 10 swap at spots. It's 1 point per position here. Hamlin, Briscoe, Gibbs all on that bubble for the cutoff line coming into the race as well, so they desperately need these. 3 wide, lap car to the outside, Eric Jones. Briscoe sandwiched in the middle between Gibbs and Jones. Gets back to the outside groove and clears Gibbs off the exit of the corner. Gibbs gets tight on the bottom in the wake of the dirty air behind Hamlin initially, and now Chase Elliott's all over Gibbs for 8th. Gibbs quickly back to the inside of the 14, doesn't make the pass there either. Austin Dillon now the last car in the lead lap. Daniel Hemrick first car 1 lap down in 24th. 6 to go in the stage for race leader Kyle Larson. Larson still comfortably 1.8 seconds ahead of Alex Bowman. He's got to manage about a second and a half to a 1.8 second gap over Bowman for about the last 15 to 20 laps or so. Josh Berry also put in a battle to Hemrick for that free pass spot. Also surprised Josh Berry's not having as good of a run here tonight as well. He ended up, I think he had a top 10 earlier this season. I know he led quite a few laps in that Bristol race. The shorter tracks, definitely some of the better runs for him early in the 2024 campaign. But not a good night for Berry so far this evening. Man, Gibbs Briscoe still battling. Hamlin's kind of gotten away from him just a bit. Hamlin trying to run down William Byron for a spot, but a lap car Justin Haley in the way right now. Gibbs Briscoe both plus 6 points coming into the race. Points as we run right now. Gibbs tied on the cutoff line with Hamlin. Tiebreaker is the best finish in the round in the NASCAR playoffs. That has been the case since these playoffs have begun with the 16-man knockout format in 2014. So again, best finish in the round is the tiebreaker, which obviously would include tonight's race if it came down to it. I think biggest mover so far is Ryan Blaney in this first stage. He's up to the... Not going to get any stage points in stage 1, but he is moving through the field slowly. Stage 1 is all wrapped up in the books. Kyle Larson will win the first stage by about 2 seconds over Alex Bowman. Bowman's second in the stage. Christopher Bell third. Martin Truex Jr. fourth. And William Byron fifth. Denny Hamlin sixth. Chase Briscoe seventh. Able to hold off Ty Gibbs as Gibbs ends up 8th. 9th for Chase Elliott. Bubba Wallace 10th. Those are all the drivers getting stage points in stage 1. Only 2 playoff drivers finished in the top 10 last week at Watkins Glen. 9 in the big pickup from where they were a week ago. Daniel Hemrick in 24th will get the free pass as this is the second caution of the night. Obviously not for incident, but stage 1 end here at lap 125. Currently working lap 127 under the caution. Pit road will open in a couple more laps. And we'll see our first pit stops of the race here shortly. So again, we'll have 24 cars on the lead lap when we begin stage number 2. Stage 1 only about 38 minutes here tonight. Had that early yellow, but definitely flying through this thing. That Xfinity race last night only 2 hours, I believe, total time. Truck race the night before. Actually, I think it was less than 2 hours. I think my stream was about 2 hours. The race itself, I believe, the night before was only about an hour and 20 minutes. Very quick one there. Obviously, only 200 laps at Bristol, not a long time. Luke Donnelly, Ryan Berwick, BJ Nate, Zachary Powers, thanks for tuning in. You guys are some newcomers into the chat here recently. NASCAR Penske Cup Series racing as well. Welcome to the stream. Try to shout out everybody that is watching as much as possible in the chat if I see you. Best chances to check are during the commercial breaks and or cautions. So again, end of stage 1 yellow right now. I'll let you listen into the TV broadcast when we get to these pit stops here in a couple of moments.
NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops, voted America's best outdoor retailer. Credit one back NASCAR American Express card. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
Great crowd at Bristol this weekend, by the way.
If you're looking to go somewhere and you've never been here, please come next time, next year. It is amazing.
It is packed. It is packed tonight.
This car ride, Mr. Burt. Thanks very much for that. Steve and I have enjoyed that this year. It is my first time, and I've had the pleasure and the fortune of calling races all around the world. This has blown my mind. It's incredible, and I always wanted to come to the night race. My work schedule never allowed it, so it's for my first time here to be calling the race. It's everything that I expected and more. Pit road's going to open this time by. Everybody will come to service of their crews. Pit crews valuable, adjustments valuable, all of those things. That's how you can get behind in a race, either having a mistake on pit road or the wrong adjustments. Dylan.
And the best car of the final third of that first stage was Christopher Bell said, as we went, we got better, but we have a vicious tail wag off the corner. They'll fix that with air pressure, 4 tires and fuel, Kim.
Stage 1 winner, Kyle Larson on the bottom of your screen said balance is really good, especially on the bottom. 3 on top, and he said, I kind of feel like you have to be asked for no adjustments, 4 fresh good, your tires, no go fuel. Chase Briscoe in the middle, really loose center off, 3 in, lacking rear lateral off turns, Marty.
Yeah, when you start the night 6 points behind, 5 stage points for Denny Hamlin could be a game changer. He said he was really good in the middle of the run, a little too free at the end. He said if you make changes, don't make them big, Walker.
Starting for Martin Truex Jr. finished 4th from that stage. He said he was actually too free and wearing out the right rear tire, that 19 car. And then for Alex Bowman, the 5-year screen fifth, second that stage, he was starting to get free and commented that the tires were starting to feel like basketballs. Kyle Larson will win the race off pit road.
He sure does, Parker. Christopher Bell continues his positivity after a great first stage. To Dylan's point, he makes that progress. Bristol, Tennessee. And yes, one of the unique characteristics of this right on the state lines of Tennessee and Virginia. Like I said earlier, if you've never been, make the effort to visit.
So Kyle Larson, after winning stage 1, does win the race off of pit road as well. Christopher Bell, who was the quickest car on the racetrack for a lot of stage 2 in the second half, especially getting through lap traffic, is now going to be in second place. It'll be interesting to see what lane he chooses for the restart. Will he take inside row 1, or will he take outside row 2? Because we've seen that outside row 2 be able to pull into second place already in the early restarts of this race. Haven't seen Bell up in this position yet. And can he put a little bit of a push on Larson for the win? Bell's been good on shorter, flatter tracks this season. This is a shorter banked racetrack, but also having a good run. So again, top 5 for this next restart. You'll have Kyle Larson in the lead, Christopher Bell second, Alex Bowman third, Martin Truex Jr. 4th, and William Byron 5th. So I didn't get a stage 2 diecast showing during yesterday's race, For the Xfinity Series, we were having some technical issues throughout the course of the stream. I was trying to fix periodically. Haven't had these issues, at least during the stream tonight. I did before the stream, but it seems to be good to go here this evening. So, with Dale Jr. racing this weekend, I wanted to do a Dale Jr. diecast showing yesterday. This is the diecast I was going to show. It's the only 88 car Dale Jr. diecast I have currently. and it is from 2009 from the Coca-Cola 600. Is National Guard camouflaged paint scheme. One of my favorite National Guard schemes. Honestly, a lot of the National Guard scheme over the years, very cool. This is probably my favorite from Dale Jr., I should preface. My favorite National Guard scheme of all time is that red, white, and blue Greg Biffle mid-2000 scheme, 05, 06, around that era. I really love that. Obviously, being a Biffle fan growing up, a little bit of bias there, but I love it. I love that paint scheme. I still got to get that die cast. I look every time I go to a NASCAR race. I can never find it. I very rarely find 16 car Greg Biffle die cast in general. And that one has been hard for me to come by. I've seen the Casey Mears one, haven't seen the Biffle one. So, anybody knows someone that has that die cast willing to give it up, I will gladly buy it off of you. But as far as this die cast showing here tonight, this is the 124 scale. Again, Dale Jr. number 88. Cool to see him racing at Bristol again last night. We'll see what races he may run in the future in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He said he wasn't done yet. He might take next year off with the broadcasting side of things, but it does sound like he will be back 2026 and beyond. So again, that's our first diecast showing of the evening.
Now, while we're away, got the news from race control. There's been a penalty handed to Joe Gibbs Racing's Ty Gibbs.
Oh.
He had a really solid opening stage, but this is going to hurt the playoff driver. Yeah, speeding in section 6. So Bristol Pit Road is forever, right? Entrance is in turn 2, exit is in turn 1. So this is Ty's stall over here, right? So Pit Road is the timing lines, and they kind of go around right here. What you have to be careful of is when you run, this is a big, high radius. Well, he pits here, and if he comes out really low, you can shortcut the corner. This is the section that he was too fast in. So we heard on the radio him say, hey, I was too red. Right? Well, when he pulls out, if he goes like that, that's just a small wedge he's going through. So the team's going to have to look at what radius he ran versus the lights. Either way, the penalty's costly. They just don't want to do it again. So you see right here, this is on board. He's just very, very low in the corner. Nothing jumps out to me. That's what I would expect the driver to do. So they'll just have to adjust it as they go.
Green flag back in the air as we begin stage 2, and Bell did take inside row 1 on the restart. He stays door-to-door with Larson initially off turn 2. Larson gets enough of a run on the back straightaway, though, to clear into turn 3. Bell clear for second in front of Bowman. Bowman, Truex side-by-side for third. Bowman on the outside, Truex on the inside. It's a JGR versus Hendrick Motorsport battle in the top 5, as it was for qualifying yesterday as well. I'll see him. Truex up the nose out in front of the 48, but not clear. Near contact behind him between a Toyota and a Chevy. Byron Wallace. Wallace on the inside. Byron up high. Some of the bread and butter for Bubba Wallace in his career on these short tracks in the NASCAR Cup Series. Having a good run so far tonight. Outrunning his playoff teammate there, Tyler Reddick, throughout the evening. Not sure what's going on with that 45 car, but they've been outside the Toyotas in the field, run top 10. Bell, Truex, Wallace, Gibbs, Hamlin, they all had stage points at the end of stage 1. Gibbs now tail end of the lead lap after speeding on pit road, so he's currently 24th, but Reddick definitely struggling tonight, and as a result, +8 above the cut line. Needs to make sure he finishes where he does. He gets a top 20 finish, he'll still make it to the next round, but if something happens to him and he falls further back in the running order, he could be in trouble. Wallace on that outside lane, finally able to clear William Byron. He was trying to pass him on the bottom for the longest time. Once Byron was able to pull clear, Wallace got to the outside and eventually ended up getting to the outside of the 24 car as well. And he was able to make the pass for 6th. Attacking on Denny Hamlin to the bottom of the racetrack as well as Hamlin protects the top. Might have to try to do what he did to Byron to make the pass on his team owner here. Larson with a half a second lead out ahead of Christopher Bell on the restart. Martin Truex Jr. 1.2 seconds back in third. Alex Bowman 1.7 seconds off the lead in 4th. And Denny Hamlin is 2 seconds off the lead in 5th. 6th place, Bubba Wallace 2.2 seconds back. William Byron 2.7 seconds off the lead in 7th. And actually make that Chase Briscoe at the line that last time, 2.7 seconds off the lead. He got by Byron on the top. Byron in 8th place, 3 seconds back. Joey Logano in the top 10 for the first time tonight, 9th. 3.2 seconds off the lead. Ryan Blaney also in the top 10 for the first time. He is in 10th. 3.5 seconds off the race leader. So that is the top 10 following this restart to begin stage 2. Lap 21 of 125 in the second stage, lap 146 of 500 total in tonight's Bristol night race. Less than 50 minutes from the drop of the green flag to where we are as of right now. Current playoff standings as they run. Tyler Reddick plus 10. On the bubble, the first 4 in are Reddick plus 10, plus 5 for Chase Briscoe, plus 4 for Denny Hamlin, and plus 2 for Martin Truex Jr. Wait for that graphic to pop back on the screen, and I'll show you, or at least tell you, the first 4 out. 4 drivers out right now would be Daniel Suarez minus 2, Ty Gibbs minus 19 after the speeding penalty, Brad Keselowski minus 37, Harrison Burton minus 46. They're both 1 lap down. Suarez also a lap down. So it seems like if you're having a really bad night, you're going to be below the cutoff line like those 3 drivers are. Tail end of the field. 2 of them came in minus on points anyway. Larson being the leader in a great spot. Christopher Bell is the only driver that has advanced on points so far tonight. Bell, after getting 8 stage points, finishing 3rd in stage 1, has advanced. So again, Christopher Bell advanced on points. No matter what happens the rest of the night, he will be in the second round of the playoffs. Joey Logano, with a win obviously locked into the next round, and with Larson leading right now, obviously if he were to win, he would lock himself in with a win. Came in plus 26. Still looking pretty good. Already won stage 1 tonight too, so that helps him a ton also. Well, contact Hamlin to the back of the 48 car, had a big run off the high side. Bowman pulled up in front of him late. And now in the next corner, Hamlin gets to the outside of Alex Bowman and will make the pass for 4th place on corner exit. So after Hendrick Motorsports kind of dominated the first stage, 1-2 for the most part between Larson and Bowman, pretty much all the way through the stage they were 1-2. Bowman led the first 32 laps from the pole. Larson led the next set of laps to the end of the stage, nearly 100. But as we get into the early going to stage 2, but now 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are JGR, Bell, Truex, Hamlin. Bowman has faded to 5th. And still trying to hold on. More comfortable point situation for Bowman compared to Larson coming into the night. Obviously getting those 9 stage points in stage 1, huge. That's why qualifying on the pole yesterday was huge for Bowman as well. So any Bowman fans out there, I think, even if he continues to slide back in the running order, he'll be all right. His teammate William Byron has also slid back, started 3rd. He is now at 8th and has kind of slowly been free-falling through the field as well. And I kind of wonder if Larson ends up losing the lead, if he's maybe going to fall back as well. Seems like on the long runs, the Toyotas seem to be better than the Chevys. Got to get that track position on Larson. We'll see if that, again, will be the case for the 5 car. Junior's interview last night seemed like he was really excited to run Bristol. Yeah, for sure. He was like a kid at a candy shop in his interview. At the race right now, Hamlin for the dub. Yeah, Hamlin was my pick to win the race as well. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Sure you are. I mean, how could you not enjoy Bristol? Especially being there in person. This is the first year in 5 years I haven't been in Bristol. I've gone to the last 4 years. All-Star race in 2020 was my first one, then the night race in 21, dirt race 22, night race again last year in 23. Stinks I didn't get to go this year. I will definitely be there next season. Mark my words. Alrighty. So again, playoff driver update. Kyle Larson in the lead. Christopher Bell 2nd. Martin Truex Jr. 3rd. Denny Hamlin 4th. Alex Bowman 5th. Chase Briscoe 6th. Highest non-playoff driver is 7th. Bubba Wallace. He was the only non-playoff driver, to even get stage points. He was 10th at the end of stage 1. William Byron 8th. Ryan Blaney 9th. Chase Elliott 10th. Joey Logano 11th. Then a gap back to Austin Cindric in 17th. Tyler Reddick 18th. Ty Gibbs still 24th after the restart. And then you got Brad Keselowski 27th, Harrison Burton 28th, and Daniel Suarez 33rd. Ty Gibbs only a few seconds ahead of Larson to try to stay on the lead lap right now, so he's definitely stuck back in traffic. Remember, with having the penalty, he's not just behind all the lead lap cars, but he was behind all the lap cars as well. Definitely seems to be struggling trying to pass them. Hemrick, who had gotten the free pass at the end of the stage, also would have been behind all the lap cars in the restart. Hemrick Gibbs are right around each other right now, battling for 23rd. Just over 14 seconds off the race lead. Full screen commercial break on the USA Network. Again, your top 10 as of right now. Kyle Larson leading, Christopher Bell second, Martin Truex Jr. third, Denny Hamlin fourth, Alex Bowman fifth, Chase Briscoe in sixth, Bubba Wallace seventh, Ryan Blaney eighth, William Byron ninth, Chase Elliott 10th. So that is the top 10. We'll take an ad break of our own right here. You're listening live on KRC to the 2024 Bristol Night Race. Don't forget to vote for who you think is going to win tonight's race at Bristol. That poll will remain open until the end of Stage 2 tonight. 108 votes have been casted so far. 43% having somebody other than Hamlin, Truex, or Larson. 18% for Denny Hamlin, 12% for Truex, but again, 43% taking somebody other than those three, even though Larson won Stage 1 and is dominating the lap sled right now and has built up his lead here in Stage 2 to 1.3 seconds. Larson has already led 139 laps.
Stage 2, 80 to go. Need to tell you about DraftKings Sportsbook. It's an authorized gaming operator of NASCAR, and this week new customers can bet $5 and pocket $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the app, use the promo code SPEED when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Stevie, this is your domain. Let's have a look at the important numbers. Who catches your eye? Well, Kyle Larson came in the favorite. His numbers are only dropping as he dominates. You can now get him a plus 170. He was almost 3-1 coming into the race. Hamlin, no surprise. Bell, once again. The guy missing is Ty Gibbs. He's down there at 14-1, recovering from that penalty. I really like the value of the 22 car, Joey Logano, 16-1. Jeff, you said it. He's running 11th, but he came from the back. He caught your eye on that first.
I don't know. I think Blaney's a little better than him out of the Penske's.
But it's still a lot of racing to go. Where's Briscoe?
On at 6.
No respect. No respect. He's still on there. Just because we don't have him as the top 10, that means he has longer odds than top 10. Go to your app. Find him if you can believe it. Chase Briscoe. Well, this guy who we ride with thanks to Monster, Ty Gibbs, plus 1,400. And Gibbs is battling his way and really well to stay on the lead lap. There's the gap between Larson and the 54. As we take you back to something that just transpired. Watch that black car high up. 54 in heavy traffic. Squeezed right here between two cars. Remember, the penalty for the 54 was tail end of the field. He had to line up behind the lap down cars as well. And this is what happens. I mean, look at the craziness, beating and banging. And why? Because you said it. Larson is coming. Larson's 4 cars behind him. These two have been going at it. We talked about going a lap down. Well, now Daniel Suarez is 2 down, battling to try to stay 1 down, but Larson getting by him. That makes the task very difficult for the 99. Look, this is a driver that came in 36 above, and there he sits 1 above. That is not a good feeling for the 99 car. Helpless. How about Stewart Haas Racing's Chase Briscoe? Wife Marissa is any moment, any day, about to give birth to twins. So that was playing on his mind as he has to focus on staying in the playoffs. And Jeff, he's not just staying in the playoffs, he is driving his way to the front of this field.
Yeah, he won that race at Darlington in dramatic style. And a lot of people picked him to be out in the first round of this playoffs. And he's
Me included.
good job by he and the entire team.
He's only plus 7.
Let's check in with Kim Coon. Kimmy?
Yeah, you talk about Chase Briscoe. The complexion of this race team has totally changed since that Southern 500 win, since making the playoffs. Remember, Stewart Haas Racing shutting down at the end of the season. The team told me before they made the playoffs with that Southern 500 win, they were counting down the days until the shop closed. Now they feel like they have the wind back in their sails. It is a week-to-week thing now. Instead of counting down the days till the shop closes, they are counting down each week to the next race and putting in what they need to try and advance to the next round of the playoffs.
Well, we spoke about that huge morale boost post Darlington, what that did, but not just the 14 side of the race team, but for the entire corporation. But that's not short-lived. It's continuing. And this guy, who heads to Joe Gibbs Racing next year to take over the 19, is just keeping that morale boost steady and constant for the Stuart Haas organization.
Well, I know the 19 team doesn't want to look ahead to next year, but when they do get a little glimmer, they got to feel good, Jeff, about thinking about this is the guy that's taking over that seat.
Yeah, I mean, what great positive momentum, right? Going over there. And you look, you got to replace Mark Truex Jr. I mean, that's a champion, a guy we consistently see winning races. That's a big deal to replace somebody like Martin and to have the confidence that you can do that. I mean, that makes you feel good as a race car driver. They believe I can have the success that Martin has had. What better compliment?
We were talking before about, Jeff, when you said this is my first visit here, one of the first things that many people said is, you've got to go and listen. You've got to get used to the noise. It is crazy, right, Marty?
Well, we always talk about the speed of the world. That's why I want top of the lineup. The monstrous is close to my hand. Appreciate it. So you want to talk to us. This is going to run the center. Number two, how in the world is he going to be to say, I can tell you, he's anything down here. Why don't we come and join?
Give me a little hit, Marty. Even when you held it close, I'm not sure I can completely hear him. No, he is right. Let's old school. Post-it note. Back before the intercoms and all that, a Sharpie. I'd have to have a box book, Lee, because if you want to get somebody's attention, you would like throw a Sharpie at them, so they would turn around so you can hand them the post-it note.
Look at this. Teammates together on track, and Denny Hamlin continues to surge. Next one on his list is Christopher Bell. The Toyota on board, bringing us these awesome images of the half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway and Denny Hamlin. The dream of getting 3 wins in a row and locking himself into the round of 12 is getting closer to becoming a reality. Yes, we've still got a long way to go, but he's doing everything he needs to do.
Jeff, I want to flip this story. So much of it made about Hamlin's approaching Atlanta by riding around and getting in a wreck and walking flat to qualifying in the back. Let's take all that aside. If they can accomplish the task tonight and can advance, is this a jump start for the 11? I know that sounds crazy, right? But it's been anything but a smooth or correct round. They would surely love to go back and move the first 2 races over. You can't. But if they pull it off, Chris Gabehart right there, Denny Hamlin, they believe in each other like no other, right? Does this jumpstart them and just reconfirm what they maybe already know? Or Denny Hamlin's going to get out and say, I told you.
You guys all got on me about the way I raced Atlanta, riding around in the back, trying to avoid a wreck. Then I got in a wreck the next week, and I told you guys we were going to come to Bristol and kill. Then I think that gives you even more confidence. And I actually think that's what Denny needed a little bit. I think the penalty with the engine, I think that put him on his heels a little bit. He hasn't won a championship. Every reason why he hasn't won a championship, and then that happened. And I think that was like, oh no, what is going to have to do us this year to keep us from winning? If you can advance out of this round after those 2 races they had, that can help move them forward.
Look, cold water on the face, right? Kind of knock you out of this dream or nightmare of this penalty.
What about the 10 playoff points that were lost for the engine seal issue? Remember the engine going back to
They won this race in the spring,
yeah,
sealed the engine,
went back to TRD in California instead of going to NASCAR. And so those 10 points, give him 10 points now, and he's in a much more comfortable position. Can't turn back time. He's gonna handle it from behind the wheel of the 11. Race still controlled by Larson.
All right, so full screen commercial break as of right now in the USA Network. An 0.8 of a second lead still for Kyle Larson. Stage 2, lap 2:01 of 500 here tonight. Christopher Bell sits in the second place spot. Denny Hamlin in third. Martin Truex Jr. fourth. Chase Briscoe in fifth. Alex Bowman 6th. Bubba Wallace 7th. Ryan Blaney 8th. Chase Elliott 9th. William Byron 10th. Joey Logano 11th, Ryan Preece 12th, Corey LaJoy 13th, Noah Gragson 14th, and Michael McDowell 15th. 16th, Ross Chastain, Tyler Reddick in 17th, Austin Cindric 18th, Carson Hocevar 19th, and Chris Buescher is 20th. AJ Allmendinger 21st, Austin Dillon 22nd, Ty Gibbs 23rd, 24th, Daniel Hemrick, Eric Jones 25th. Those are the first two cars one lap down. One lap down also Zane Smith in 26th, Justin Haley 27th, Brad Keselowski 28th, Kyle Busch 29th, Harrison Burton 30th, Ty Gillen 31st, Daniel Suarez 32nd, 33rd, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Josh Berry 34th, Kaz Gralla 35th, Jonathan Nemechek 36th, and Josh Bilicki 37th. All 37 cars still on the racetrack. Kyle Larson is now led for 172 laps. Alex Bowman is led for 33. From the pole, those are the only two drivers to lead in this race. I think Bowman actually led another lap during the caution, during that pit stop sequence on pit road. His pit box ahead of Larson's in comparison to the start-finish line, so Bowman was able to lead that lap. So he's led 2 different times. Larson's led 2 different times. We've had 3 lead changes. Can anybody take down Kyle Larson here tonight as the JGR teams still running in line behind him? Chase Briscoe's actually split those JGR cars up just a bit. He has moved to 4th recently. Truex now back to 5th. Bowman in 6th. Ryan Blaney up to 7th, up 13 positions from the start of the race. Began back in 20th. Joey Logano, since the restarts, dropped out of the top 10. Chase Elliott back in.
That win in Las Vegas. You can stay where the races stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. It's your ultimate pit stop on the Las Vegas Strip. South Point, everything you want, all under one roof. And look at the roof here, high above.
There's no roof.
And this wonderful aerial coverage tonight brought to you by Traveller Whiskey. A sight to behold. Bristol Motor Speedway, the night race, the Bass Pro Shops night race, continues with 41 to go in stage 2. It's the same picture at the front with this man in control, this man being Kyle Larson. I want to take you back just a few moments ago. Watch Alex Bowman. That's Josh Berry trying to get out of the way, Josh. And Chase Briscoe was opportunistic on the high side.
Yeah, he just didn't want to get caught on the bottom. You know, had a chance to make that move, and just aggressive Bristol. Austin Dillon up to the highlight. It's loose. A little bit of contact.
So, Steve, here's a question for you. The signature, the thing that everybody was talking about after the spring race here and been talking about all the way up till this weekend was the tire drop off, the degradation, just the crazy, unpredictable nature of that race. It was applauded. The driver said, hey, to Goodyear, let's bring the same tire back here. Let's have that. It was fun. It was something different. The same tire back here. Why is the race different?
Well, this is why that question is so complicated to answer. And I know it's frustrating for fans and drivers and even Goodyear, right, when it goes wrong. But this is the same tire. The real difference, the only real obvious difference is the temperature. It was very cool in the spring. It's much warmer now. Jeff, you and I talked about even the look of the track. Like, there's not big tire marbles. It's not like it looks just way different. In the spring, it's all you could go to around 55 or 60 laps. Here we are. We ran over 100 laps on the first set of tires. There are 81 on this set of tires, and I haven't seen one driver pacing himself.
Now, it is completely different. And you know, congratulations to everybody that had the courage to bring this tire back. They thought they recognized what would be different between this race and the last race. Let's don't bring back a hard tire. Let's go back with it. We think we understand it, and they got it right.
Let's get some updates from pit road. Let's kick it off with Dylan Welsh. Dylan?
Well, yep, it's that time of the night. Patience starting to run in the cockpits of these race cars, including on the 12 radio. Listen.
Yeah, 4 on the back. I bring up now. Don't worry.
Okay. The good news is the 12 car has been good. Grew from 22nd to 11th at stage 1 on the charge here again. And they were really what they're going to have at the start of the race. This car is good right now, partner. And for William Byron, he's fallen from 5th to 10th in this run and is quite frustrated on the radio. Take a listen.
I got it.
Packers up. I have to go wide open and keep up.
That is the frustration you start to hear when the car isn't doing what you want and you know where you need to go, but it just won't do it. It's such an
the race car in this half mile track.
So it's also hot under the helmet. Fire back in traffic and can't speeding penalty. Take a listen.
We gotta come down and rid of this thing up because this is tight as hell. That's what we got here for a while. Yeah, it's always been a cool bag.
And Tony Hirschman, the spotter, coaching this young driver, reminding him over a dozen times, Marty, to be calm, stay patient, and race smart.
Restriction also setting in, Kim, in the sixth camp for Brad Keselowski. And even though he came in below the elimination line, a lot of people thought him he was going to third in the sprint and said they have a good shot to advance. Tonight, it's been the exact opposite. They went down their first lap in stage one, trying to avoid going down a second lap here in stage two. And the leader, just 2 cars behind him, he said, our exit is terrible. The front tires are gone. Jeff, we all kind of thought Keselowski would have some pace tonight. Are you surprised they're this far off the pace?
Yeah, I am surprised. I just, this team has done so good. And this kind of racetrack, you would expect Brad to come and compete at a high level, but they just don't have it tonight. Teammate Chris Buescher is only running 20th also. So RFK just didn't quite come with what they needed.
Well, you wonder, Jeff, remember the tires were a big conversation when I talked to different teams down there. Some came with some adjustments in the car to improve tire life that doesn't appear to be needed now. It's easy to say make adjustments. Well, not every knob can be turned, Dip. Like sometimes you are married to something and you just have to wonder if the 6th and the 17 made choices that they can go back and undo.
I would say the same for the 99 Suarez.
Yes.
Think about where they were in points coming into this race. All the tire issue, you dial a little bit of speed out of that car trying to protect it, and now you don't have the speed you need. But look, let's go back. And there's Suarez. He's back here in 31st, 2 laps down.
Dancing a delicate line in 12th.
2 laps down. It's very hard to overcome that. Let's go back to the 54 Ty Gibbs. I want his crew chief to say, hey, buddy, we started dead last on the field. You have driven this thing to 21st. From dead last. Okay, we're going to make it better. You're doing a great job. You're doing what you need to do tonight. Just keep doing that because he is doing what he needs to do.
You know who else is doing a good job? Kyle Larson. He has now led more than 1,000 laps at Bristol Motor Speedway, more than any other track.
And another dominant night here for Kyle Larson thus far. We'll see if he can keep the car clean as he continues through lap traffic, having a little contact to look like with the 38 of Todd Gilliland. 3 wide with the 66 up on the high side. Larson does pass them both. His lead is only 0.7 of a second currently over Christopher Bell. Lap 231. And growing closer to the end of stage 2. Just 20 laps to go in stage 2 at this moment. And again, your top 10, Kyle Larson in the lead, Christopher Bell second, Denny Hamlin third, Chase Briscoe fourth, Martin Truex Jr. fifth, Alex Bowman sixth, Ryan Blaney seventh, Bubba Wallace eighth, ninth Chase Elliott, William Byron 10th. So that is the top 10 with 18 laps to go in the stage, and as of right now, 23 cars on the lead lap, which is what we had at the end of stage 1 as well. Kyle Busch about to go 2 laps down in the 8 car. Brad Keselowski now the next car right in front of the leader, Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin has been close to Christopher Bell for second for quite some time. Hasn't been able to make the pass on him yet. Side by side, briefly through the center of the corner, through 3 and 4 that last time. Hamlin continues to try to ride the bottom of the racetrack while Bell's on the top. Ryan Blaney trying to break into 6th place as he is working on Alex Bowman. Bowman getting tight in the dirty air behind Truex, and Blaney is clear. And blocks to the inside on Alex Bowman. Going down into the next corner, Bowman loses a lot of ground on corner entry and center of the corner through 3 and 4 as well, and Bubba Wallace is now underneath him for a spot. Bowman trying to hang on here again, end of stage 2 coming up. Problems for playoff driver Harrison Burton as he is going to make an unscheduled pit stop with 15 laps to go in stage 2. Burton is down onto pit road and pulling into the garage. So Harrison Burton pulling into the garage, a mechanical issue for the 21. Our first playoff driver to have major problems here. Now Burton was last on the grid of the 16 drivers, not only coming into the race, but as we ran as well, based off of points merit, as he was right around 30th place, 2 laps down at the time of him pulling in. So we'll see if we get a word on that. Lap traffic for Hamlin and Bell to work with. Couple lap cars separating between the top two in the positioning order of Larson and Hamlin. 11 laps to go, stage 2.
All racetracks to have power steering issues. This must be the toughest. The vertical load with the banking puts so much weight on the tires. And the new car has a rack style steering. Isn't an old style steering box. So it's not like it used to be. You know, no power steering is near impossible to drive in the old car. With this car, I believe it is impossible. There's a few drivers that have pulled it off at higher speed tracks where you have less load in the steering. Of a place like Bristol, there's just nothing you can do from behind the wheel, but I believe this right here will end the playoff hopes to the 21. Yeah, the very top.
So Harrison Burton in the 21 car again in the garage. As of right now, a power steering issue. They're going to hope to get that car back out onto the racetrack at the very least here soon. Battle for 8th on screen between Chase Elliott and Bubba Wallace. Caution flag out, lap 243. Joey Logano having a problem. Right front tire is down on the 22.
Maybe a flap. Second flap.
What caused this? Damage to the nose, but not super severe. We'll see if he can get around without more damage because of the flat tire. He's running 12. Started 22nd, up to 12. Oh, contact there. Can't tell from that angle whether there's contact from behind or I still can't really tell. Either way, he gets just kind of spit out of line. I think that was the slow car of Josh Bilicki in the top lane, and Ryan Preece was in that. So how bad is this race car, Steve? It's really hard to tell. Obviously, the tires are flat. But now it's decision time for the playoff drivers. Do you take tires? Do you stay out for points? Does everybody come? I think you have to pit. 108 laps on the tires. You have to come get fresh tires right here. Green lights on pit road. The leaders have peeled off the banking. You see Larson coming to his crew. Dylan. Christopher Bell went backwards in that stage, just back to third. Said that we were much tighter on this run. Not as good. They'll go back on their previous adjustment, Kim.
See, Chase Briscoe in the middle there. He said, I can use sport grip. Car's not bad. Kyle looks there on the bottom. He said, I don't know what direction I need to be. Track has less grip, but I don't know what direction. So no adjustments for Kyle Larson, Marty.
Kenny Hamlin drove up to second, hitting here with 6 to go in stage 2. He said the car's a little bit free, but when I'm in my rhythm, we can turn some really good laps, Parker, for Martin Truex Jr. Still too free, and especially too free to run the top in that 19 car. Good year for him. The bottom of your screen, Alex Bowman commenting that he's just too tight to run the top. The exact opposite of the 19 car there, and too tight on the bottom. Those front tires turn to basketballs. Larson wins the race off pit road.
And a huge break for a couple of playoff drivers. The 99 of Suarez will be able to stay out and take the wave around. The 6 of Keselowski forced to pit because Reddick stayed on the racetrack.
Suarez, who was 2 down, will get the wave around to get back to 1 lap down. Keselowski was 1 lap down, but will remain 1 lap down, it looks like. Couple lead lap cars going to take the wave around. Looks like Zane Smith going to get the free pass with this caution to get back on the lead lap as well. And I believe Tyler Reddick stays on the racetrack. He was in 17, so looking to get some points. I think that's good for him. Surprised we didn't see more drivers at the tail end of the lead lap, like a Cindric maybe pitting as well, Gibbs. I'm surprised that they stayed out, or that they pitted and didn't stay out to try to get points. Because they were already at the tail end of the lead lap anyway. So at least they could have gotten points and then back to the tail end of the lead lap when we begin stage 2, because we will get a restart with just a few laps to go here in the stage. And Tyler Reddick on these over 100 lap older tires is going to try to hold on to get some stage points that he wouldn't have gotten otherwise if we stayed green. Reddick was hovering between about +7 to +10 points throughout the most part tonight. I think he was +10 at the time of the caution, so if he gets some stage points, that would be huge for him. If he remains on the lead lap, he'll still be able to make it in, but these stage points will obviously help him even that much more if for some reason in the final stage he fell off the lead lap. Is this an elimination race? Yes, it is. Elimination race, round of 16.
Welcome back to Bristol. Under caution, and we'll go back racing here in a moment. Lights are already off. The pace car as the field is being sorted. Tyler Reddick will give us a talking point here. The McDonald's Toyota of 2311 Racing. Smart play here to get the stage points, Steve. Put himself in a strong position.
Yeah, I mean, the back of the field's still kind of stacked up at the choose. If we do start this time, it's going to be a 2-lap shootout. Crazy old tires. I like the call because of where he came in. I think these tires will cool off and fire off. Now I'm nervous because no one else stayed with him. This is a real big test for later in the day, right? Can these tires refire and hold up? Kyle Larson, best car of the night. It's on brand new tires starting next to him.
And further back in the field with this little short run, you got several drivers 1 lap down. They will be racing hard, trying to be the first car lap down.
All right, so here we go. Reddick, leader on the restart, 2-lap green-white checker here for stage 2. Green flag back in the air. Good fire off initially on the restart, but into the center of 1 and 2. Larson again underneath them, looking to make the pass. And clear on corner exit. Reddick falls out of second as well. Truex moves up a couple spots. Hamlin Bell going to try to battle and get by Reddick as well. Reddick trying to hold on for what he's got here for third. Final lap of the stage. Kyle Larson continues to lead. Truex closes the gap through 1 and 2. Into turns 3 and 4. Kyle Larson holds Truex off, and Kyle Larson will win stage 2 at Bristol. Hamlin ends up in third after Truex second. Tyler Reddick holds on for fourth, and Christopher Bell fifth. Chevy, and then 5 Toyotas to follow in the running order. As Bubba Wallace was 6th, Alex Bowman 7th. Next, or first Ford, I should say, was Chase Briscoe in 8th. Ryan Blaney 9th, and Chase Elliott 10th. So those are all the drivers getting stage points for stage 2. This is our 4th caution of the race at the stage end. 1 caution for incident in stage 1 on lap 4. 1 caution for incident in stage 2 at lap 242 for Joey Logano and his incident on the front stretch. It does appear that Logano, as of right now, is still in this race, but is now 2 laps down. He was running in the 11th place position at the time of his crash. And I think this hurt Chase Briscoe the most of the drivers right around the cut line. He was running in 4th before the caution came out, was probably going to finish 4th at the end of stage 2 on the restart, and losing a few spots on pit road. He ends up 8th. So he only gets 3 stage points in stage 2 instead of 7. And I think he was only plus, like 4 points before the pit stops? After the pit stops, I'm not sure where he's at. I'll let you know next time we see that graphic, but he's not ahead by a lot of points, I'll tell you that much. If he's ahead at all anymore, for that matter. Truex, a driver, Truex is a driver that is trying to catch Chase Briscoe, and Truex ends up 2nd in the stage, and I believe he was in 5th before the caution came out, so he gained a few points that he wouldn't have gotten. And obviously Tyler Reddick up to 4th after he would have had any, so he gets 7. Christopher Bell, we already know, was locked into the next round of the playoffs based off his stage points in stage 1, and obviously the points scored in the first 2 races of the round as well. Playoff points that carried over for him into the postseason. Remember, he had the most stage wins of any driver this year, on top of a few race wins, So Kyle Larson sweeping the stages here tonight at the Bristol Motor Speedway. He's led 3 different times, 216 laps led for Larson in the first 253 laps and counting. 3 laps led for Tyler Reddick during the yellow, 34 for Alex Bowman. 2 of those lead changes in the midst of pit stops. 3 different drivers have led at least 1 lap in the race. 6 lead changes. Again, this is our 4th caution.
Eat Sonic. Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Visit progressive.com. Go bowling. Go to gobowling.com to find a center near you. And by Bass Pro Shops, voted America's best outdoor retailer. 100,000 folks here tonight to witness
well over
the
100
night race,
grand.
the legendary night race here at Bristol Motor Speedway. So back under caution at the end of the 2nd stage. It has been an evening, a race dominated by Kyle Larson. 216 laps. His teammate At Hendrick Motorsports, there's more positive news for the man who started on the pole. Alex Bowman has clinched his spot. He goes through to the round of 12. It's like the instant value of stage points, right? That's what we love to do. And that's how these are happening. If you're at home and you say, how did this happen? He started not clinched, now he's clinched. It's because the math works where the 48 has scored stage points, 13 today. And for that reason, regardless of winners and anything else, and wherever he finishes in the race, we know he has moved forward. The 45 of Reddick gambled for those stage points, and the gamble worked. He scored 7 stage points today, so he's not mathematically in, but those points can't be taken away. So in a late race issue, those might be the difference maker for the 45, Marty.
Stephen, as Billy Scott told me, that puts us one step closer to being able to advance. He actually told his driver, great job there. That's what we needed. So 7 stage points, as you mentioned, Steve, for the 45. Now in the bank, now they'll pay the penalty as well. They're going to drop back to about 23rd, 24th, somewhere in that range for Tyler Reddick on this restart.
Talking about coming from behind and driving through the field, Ty Gibbs, remember who got that penalty earlier? He went all the way to the back. He has driven his way to 19th in the Monster Machine for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my...
All right, so end of stage 2 diecast showing. This is our usual one, but I didn't show off a diecast during last night's stream. Again, Dale Jr. Ran the Xfinity race yesterday, so doing some Dale Jr. diecast for this weekend. Had an 88 car from the Coke 600 in 2009 that it showed off. This one, maybe a more iconic paint scheme. I'd say easily a more iconic paint scheme. The number 8, and this is from 2001, the Pepsi 400. It is the baseball diecast, of course, where he had won the Pepsi 400 in that very year. First race back at Daytona since the tragic passing of his father, Dale Earnhardt Sr. This is a diecast that I had actually gotten at Bristol Motor Speedway a couple of years ago. This is one of the Dale Jr. diecasts I've always wanted to get. So as soon as I saw it, I had a chance to get it. I was going to get it. Again, this is the 2001 All-Star Game paint scheme. They were in Seattle for the All-Star Game that year. So there you can see it on the hood. And a DEI number 8 here for Dale Jr. Like the baseball seams on the trim all the way around the race car as well, as you could see on this one. I also liked his helmet with the giant baseball during this race as well. Ran an all-star race paint scheme for the next couple of years on the Pepsi 400 at Daytona as well, so it wasn't just an 01. I think my dad's got the 2002 one as well. This was mine. So that is our Stage 2 diecast showing for tonight's race. We'll also close the poll down here in the middle of Stage 2 as well for who you think is going to win tonight's race. 139 votes were casted. And it looks like 40% taking somebody other than Larson, Hamlin, or Truex to win. Surprise! Larson dominating the race like he is. And he isn't the one leading the poll. He's leading of the 3 drivers at least, so at 28%. Denny Hamlin at 20% has ran top 5 all night. Truex also been top 5 all night at 10% of the votes, so all performing very well. Thanks again for voting.
Well, Ryan didn't take too kindly to that, and he had some thoughts to share on the radio afterwards.
The 19 pulled up the pin. That's, oh, you can't do that.
Oh, I know that. I did have to quick. So it looked like the 19 passed him, Marty, but what's the 19 say about it?
Well, Dylan, it was a pretty spirited battle between Denny Hamlin and the car he owns and Tyler Reddick for 3rd position at the end of Stage 2. Hamlin won.
What did that have to do about Truex?
Scott Crucci for Tyler Reddick. Thought about that.
After all that, I hope really didn't do anything for him. He's rated at that, but it's close.
So interesting, Billy Scott saying, I hope you didn't do him any favors. So what's the line there, Steve, when you're kind of talking about the owner versus driver relationship here and how Denny Hamlin should race the car that he owns?
Has he ever met Denny Hamlin? I mean, the line is take some more, take from the 11, take from the 54. Like, Tyler Reddick has to worry about the 45. This is way too big a stakes and way too tough of racing to try to help your team owner out at this point. In my opinion, the best thing to do is just continue to run as hard as you can run.
So here we are. 241 laps to go. Reddick up by 8 points. Hamlin's 4. Suarez 1. Truex none. Briscoe 0. Gibbs minus 15. It is a Saturday night fight. Every single position matters.
Remember when we started at Atlanta Motor Speedway, when the playoffs started, we told you about the three so different tracks and how it was going to set up beautifully for variety for these playoffs. It is delivering. There's a tie right on the cut line as we...
All right, green flag back in the air. Stage 3 underway. 240 laps of racing at Bristol under the lights remain. Side by side for the lead initially on the restart. Larson, Truex. Larson outside row 1 again will hold on to the lead. Truex in second in a single file line behind him. Door to door for third between the JGR teammates of Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin at the moment. Bubba Wallace in position right behind the two. Hamlin on the outside, Bell on the inside. Hamlin wins the battle for third. 2 and nearly 3 wide further back in the pack around Tyler Reddick. And I saw Bass Pro Shop's car right around him. I believe that was Austin Dillon in 21st as well. Justin Haley in the 24th place position now. He had got the free pass during the stage end. Wallace to the outside of Hamlin. Blows right around him on the outside lane as well to get to, it looks like, 3rd place. Wallace did a good job getting by Bell as well the lap before that, so I think there's good fire-off speed in that 23. He made some passes initially on the restart in Stage 2, doing the same here in Stage 3. Will we see a 9 playoff driver win for the second consecutive playoff race? We saw it in this very race at Bristol, the elimination race round of 16 2022. Remember when Chris Buescher won that race, he was a non-playoff driver that year. Upsetting the field, just as he did last weekend as a non-playoff driver at Watkins Glen. Chase Briscoe back into the top 5. Good race start for him. He was 8th at the end of Stage 1. Now battles Denny Hamlin for 4th. Wallace quickly pulling away from the 11 as soon as he had made that pass for position. Hamlin, one of the only cars in the top 10 running the outside right now. A lot of these guys down on the bottom, which we haven't seen a whole lot of on the longer runs. Briscoe to the outside. Hamlin went to the bottom that time. They crisscrossed lines, and Briscoe had a big run on the 11 car. Both cars down to the bottom. Briscoe puts the bumper to Hamlin. Briscoe +3, Hamlin +4 on the playoff grid. But this can be a 2-point swing between those two drivers alone here. We'll put Hamlin +3, Briscoe +4 if Briscoe can make this pass. Unable to do it. He was side by side for almost a full lap. The more they battle, the more the top 3 start to pull away. Martin Truex Jr. +2 points, not in a must-win situation right now, but needs to hold on to that track position he has currently if he's going to want to make it out of this first round. Daniel Suarez is at -2 points for the moment. Kyle Larson in the number 5 with a 0.6 of a second lead over Martin Truex Jr. in second. Bubba Wallace 1.2 seconds back in third. Denny Hamlin 1.8 seconds back in fourth. Chase Briscoe in fifth, 2 seconds off the lead. That is your top 5 on this restart to begin Stage 3. Playoff points as we run right now in the beginning portion of Stage 3 as well. Tyler Reddick +13 points, +5 for Denny Hamlin, +4 for Chase Briscoe, +2 for Martin Truex Jr. Those are all the drivers on the bubble, the first 4 in. And the 4 out would be Daniel Suarez, who is the first driver out at -2 points behind Martin Truex Jr. for that final spot currently. And then you got Ty Gibbs, who would be 14th on the playoff grid. Wait for that graphic to show. There we go. Gibbs -15. -44, Brad Keselowski. -56 for Harrison Burton. And Harrison Burton, I think, did come back out onto the racetrack following his power steering issue. Not sure if they're still dealing with that or not, but they are on track. 43 laps down for Harrison Burton. Certainly scored in last place. 233 laps of the 276 completed for him. 24 cars on the lead lap entirely, and all 37 again still out on the racetrack. Some more laps down than others of those that are not on the lead lap. We'll see if Ty Gibbs can make up 15 positions. He's currently in 18th. He definitely has a top 10 car. We know the Toyotas are quick tonight. And they're probably the quickest in the field through this portion of the race, first half of it, other than, of course, Kyle Larson, who's dominated in the laps led. I would imagine all these drivers that are over 20 points to the good right now, but obviously not locks, you would think that their pit crews have to be telling their teams, hey, listen, you may be faster than the guy in front of you, but do not, overstep your boundaries pushing to try to make a pass to get one more spot when you're over 20 points to the good. Because, yeah, you're 20 points to the good running in the, say, 7th place position like Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney 8th. But if you get in a crash and you end up finishing with nobody out of the race right now, let's say 36th, 37th, you only get 1 point for your finishing position, you're going to end up losing out on almost 30 points from where you're running right now, and you're not going to make it into the next round. So Blaney battling pretty aggressively here with Chase Elliott for 7th. Can't get around him for the moment. Got to keep that in mind. Got to keep doing what you're doing. We haven't seen a whole lot of passes for position right now. And speaking of passes for position, with Suarez being the first driver out, -3, he just lost a spot because Truex obviously remains in second, so he is now +3. Daniel Suarez running in 33rd as of right now. There are obviously other cars 1 lap down with him that he could pass for position. Everybody from 25th through Suarez in 33rd are all 1 lap down. Suarez at -3 points as of right now. He would have to gain 4 because if Truex finishes second, obviously Truex would have the tiebreaker with the best finish in the round. If Truex falls out of second, I believe Suarez would have the best finish in the round as he had a second place finish at Atlanta as well. Because I think the second tiebreaker, if it's a tie for the best finish in the round, I think it's the best finish in this race. So again, Truex would be second in this race, so he would have the tiebreaker. If Truex does not finish in second, though, Suarez would have the tiebreaker if it comes down to those two. But Suarez can definitely gain 3 positions. Joey Logano with damage is in 30th. Eric Jones, Josh Berry right around him in the running order. Not a lot of speed in that 99 car. I mean, it's insane, though, that all he has to do is finish 30th to make it to the next round with no stage points, and he still might not do that. He was plus 36 points coming into this race, and they've been 30th on speed or worse all weekend. Again, he was outside the top 30 in practice, qualified 35th of 37 cars. The only 2 he out-qualified, part-time driver at Rickware Racing, Kaz Gralla, and a part-time Josh Bilicki with a part-time non-chartered team at NBM. There has not been much speed in that 99 all weekend. Now, Ross Chastain currently is in the 10th place position. And this is really the first time I've even seen him in the top 10 so far in this race. So he's kind of scratched and clawed his way up there. He started mid-pack, but he's showed a lot more speed, obviously, than Suarez so far. Clearly. 207 laps to go in this race yet. We continue on in this one. Larson 1.1 seconds still ahead of Martin Truex Jr. as he remains in second. Bubba Wallace third, Denny Hamlin fourth, and Chase Briscoe fifth. That is the top 5. Top 5 has not changed in the running order since the first few laps of the restart. Leaders getting into lap traffic at the tail end of the field of those that were already at least 1 lap down. And that's another thing, too. Daniel Suarez definitely in danger of going a second lap down here. Not too far from where we are currently looking at. Jeff Curry in the chat. I smell something. Oh, it's Larson stinking up the field. Yeah, I smell that too. Must be coming from the same place. Speaking of going a second lap down, Daniel Suarez right now going a second lap down. Larson clears him off turn 4. Now, obviously, Larson laps these few cars up ahead of him to also put him 2 laps down. Suarez, could still battle those guys for position. They're not that far in front of him. I mean, Josh Berry is right there. Oh, Larson 3 wide to the bottom. 15 car was out of shape off of turn 4, lost a ton of momentum. Larson was already underneath Daniel Suarez, nearly had him clear in that evasive maneuver there by Larson. Have to go 3 wide to the bottom to split the 15 car. Allows for Suarez to stay back to the outside of the 5 and continue to battle him. It's not going to be an easy pass, and that brings Martin Truex Jr. now within a half a second of the race lead. Nobody has passed Larson for the lead on track all night since he had taken the lead for the first time. The only times he did not lead was under caution and on pit road. Despite winning the race off pit road the 2 times that we have had pit stops. And I would assume with the lack of tire fall off in this one, we're probably only 1 more pit stop out from the finish. And Casgralla, who was slow just a couple of corners ago, a couple laps ago, is now on pit road for an unscheduled stop. Some more problems for the 15. We saw a power steering issue with another Ford driver, Harrison Burton, so I wonder if maybe that's the problem. Because it definitely looked like the handling was not looking great on that 15 car when we saw him moments ago. 300 laps complete, 200 laps still to go at Bristol. Side-by-side commercial break as of right now in the USA Network. And again, the top 10, Kyle Larson leading, Martin Truex Jr. in second, Bubba Wallace third, Denny Hamlin in fourth, Chase Briscoe fifth, Christopher Bell sixth, Chase Elliott 7th, Ryan Blaney 8th, Alex Bowman 9th, and Ross Chastain rounds out the top 10. You're listening live on KRC to the Bass Pro Shops Bristol Night Race. Elimination race for the round of 16 for the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. I do have Larson on my fantasy team tonight, so my fantasy team has been kicking butt. They've all been in the top 10 the whole race. I had a feeling with no tire fall off, similar track temps here today, air temps is what we saw in the night race in Bristol last year. I was assuming it was going to be a race where there wasn't going to be as much passing as what we saw in the spring. Not as much tire fall off, allowing not as much movement through the field, so I knew qualifying was going to be important. So it took a lot of guys who were just fast in practice and qualifying. I took literally all JGR Toyotas and all Hendrick Chevys in my fantasy team, and it's worked out. And the only one that was on there that isn't up there in the running order is Ty Gibbs, who had the speeding penalty. He's rallied back to 16th, but not nearly as many stage points as the other guys who had stage points at both stages. Gibbs only had stage points at stage 1, so he was in my garage at the end of stage 2 when the lineup's locked. So again, I appreciate everybody that is tuning into this one so far. Just over 200 laps complete in this race. Long way still to go. Again, 1 more pit stop. And it'll be interesting if we get a long enough green flag run, if that pit stop will be under green or will it be under yellow. Because you don't want to have to short pit here at Bristol. You'll go 2 laps down if you're on the lead lap. But we have also seen this in years past that they've had to make a green flag pit stop. It wouldn't be shocking either. I mean, they could probably go to right around 100 laps left on fuel before they would have to pit. So they're definitely going to run this out as far as they can. Tire fall off at the end of these 100 plus lap green flag runs have only been between 7 and 9/10 of a second. Amongst these faster cars at the front of the field that have been top 10, top 5 all night. Continues to be the same at this point. Other drivers plus on the playoff grid, Chase Elliott plus 22, plus 21 for Austin Cindric, plus 19 for Ryan Blaney, plus 14 for William Byron based on where those guys are all running on the lead lap. All in the top 10, but Byron, who is currently 13th. And once again, Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman have locked themselves into the playoffs on points based off the first 2 stages. Logano, obviously, with the win at Atlanta, which is huge because he got in a wreck earlier today and now is 2 laps down at 31st. So good thing he got that win in the first race of the round. Austin Cindric making a pass on Carson Hocevar on screen for 18th. Great job by Cindric in the first 2 races of the round. Top 10s at Atlanta and Watkins Glen. He was one of only 2 playoff drivers who had a top 10 last week at the Glen, where he finished 10th. And scored quite a few stage points in that race as well. You know, and how strong the Fords were on the super speedway at Atlanta, that could be strong for him when we get into Vegas. Or, sorry, not Vegas. I don't know why I said Vegas. Get into Talladega in the next round. Plus, obviously, top 10 at the Glen on a road course and the Robles in the next round as well. So, Cindric could make a round of 8 appearance. I'm also kind of wondering why I didn't have him making it out of this round of the playoffs. Hindsight's always 2020, but I really am starting to wonder why I didn't have him making it out of the first round. I know I had him like right on that cusp, but I looked at Bristol at being the race that he was going to run potentially really bad because Penske in the next gen car hasn't been good at Bristol. You know, Logano running where he is right now is pretty much where he ran for all of the race last year, which is why he had gotten eliminated from the round of 16 of the playoffs last year. It's kind of the same situation Daniel Suarez is in here tonight, where he's just running so bad that even all the points he scored in the first 2 races isn't enough to bail him out when he doesn't get any stake points and finishes outside the top 30. So it's almost kind of looking like a deja vu moment for Suarez for what Logano had last year at Bristol. Kevin Harvick, I think, also kind of had a similar car where he ran pretty much 30th or worse most of that race as well, despite scoring good points in the first 2 races of the round at what was at the time Darlington and Kansas. Playoff driver running order. Kyle Larson leads. Martin Truex Jr. second. Chase Briscoe is actually battling Denny Hamlin for third. So Briscoe, that last time at the line, scored third. Hamlin in fourth. Chase Elliott is up to fifth. He passed Bubba Wallace recently. Bubba's still the highest running non-playoff driver as he sits in sixth. Back to the playoff side of things, Ryan Blaney is seventh. Christopher Bell eighth. Alex Bowman ninth. William Byron 13th. 16th, Ty Gibbs. Austin Cindric 18th. Tyler Reddick 20th. Make that 21st. And all the other playoff drivers off the lead lap. Brad Keselowski 28th. Daniel Suarez 32nd. Joey Logano 31st. And Harrison Burton 37th. I think Burton's pulled back off the racetrack again because he was 33 laps down. And now he's 77 laps down. Saw Kaz Gralla return back to the racetrack after pulling onto pit road somewhat recently as well. Suarez did pick up a spot on Josh Berry in the running order in recent laps. And Truex in danger of losing a spot to Chase Briscoe means that Truex would only be 1 point to the good on Daniel Suarez if he loses this spot. Chase Elliott now putting a battle for fourth on with Denny Hamlin. So Truex is in dire need of trying to hang on to these points right now. Briscoe, Hamlin trying to put themselves in a better position here based off of where they're running currently. Very hard battle for second between Briscoe and Truex. Briscoe not giving that 19 a lot of room. He's trying to run that middle groove as high as he can in the corners to try to stay alongside Truex. May try to use this 99 car of Daniel Suarez as a pick. Suarez running the outside. Caution flag is out. Our fifth yellow today. Corey LaJoie has crashed.
LaJoie having such a good night. He's running at 11. Qualified in the top 10.
This is his final drive for Spire Motorsports before transitioning to Rick Ware Racing for next week's race in Kansas. Let's show you how it went down for LaJoie. Kind of in the middle there. Oh, man. Josh Berry. Contact with Josh Berry. From that angle, it's hard to tell. I mean, definite contact, but I can't really tell. It's late in the corner to know who's climbing, who's going. I'm sure there's way more to it than that. Probably starts up earlier. Here we're going to see it.
He gets loose.
Yeah.
He gets loose and loses momentum. So right there, he's loose. And then I think he gets slow, and Josh Berry just doesn't get slowed up and gets into the back of him.
Yeah, without a doubt, Josh Berry caused the contact between the 7 and the 4 as far as he hit him from behind. But I don't believe
it was intentional, right? The 7, to your point, when he gets loose and he checks up, this is what happens. That's what makes this play so difficult. It's the speed you're traveling in close proximity. That's a shame for Corey LaJoy. As we mentioned earlier, he was coming off his 3rd top 10 of the year, Watkins Glen, last weekend, and he was running on the fringe of the top 10 here tonight.
This is a potential break for Keselowski. There's 5 cars, 1 lap down. He's the last car. If he could get himself back into the lead lap, who knows what could happen? He's got a lot of points to gain. I don't think it's enough. But further back, Daniel Suarez, 2 laps down. He's going to need a series of cautions to try to find a way. If he could get himself to 1 lap down, somehow with some strategy, then maybe he could go gain some spots. Look where he is. He's only 2 points out. So what kind of strategy can they play? They have to be willing to gamble.
Well, there's very little to lose, right? If they gamble and they get it wrong, they give up maybe only 2 spots. So if I'm Suarez, I'm probably, it's hard to say though, right? There's 70, 80, 90 laps on your tires. It's easy to say up here in the TV booth to maybe take the wave around. But if you're the crew chief on the 99, that is a nerve-wracking decision.
Yeah, he's going to gain, and LaJoy's out, right?
It's going to gain a spot.
That's
on the
going to gain
99.
a spot. So now, how do you play? How much do you gamble? Because if you're Suarez, Logano's 2 down, he's injured. Rice car's hurt. Eric Jones 2, Gilliland 2. Can you gain enough within your 2 lap guys to get the points you need?
Pit road's getting busy, Dylan. They're coming your way. Chase Elliott, the first pit box off turn 2, said he was a tick loose in, but was pressing pretty hard that run. He wants that same condition to navigate through traffic. 4 tires and fuel, Cam.
You see Chase Briscoe in the middle. He said he fired off tight, but it comes to him. The call is cool. I believe that's 4 fresh Goodyear tires, snow go fuel. Kyle Larson on the bottom. Said better that run. I was able to manage it. I'm comfortable with the balance. That just free on top like the first run, Marty.
Really, the first run of the night, Jim, where Denny Hamlin did not gain any spots as we come over to the front stretch. He said definitely freer on that run. He just didn't have the grip I had earlier, Parker.
And Marty from Martin Truex Jr., he's got bad brake pedal shape that he says is hurting the front tires and causing him to get tighter there on the bottom. Then for Alex Kovich, he's got right front chatter right now, which means the right front's actually skipping across the track, not able to get that car to turn where he wants. And the 5-team stays undefeated on pit road tonight.
What an amazing night it has been for that 5-team. Denny Hamlin grabbed a spot, so too did the man who's been sneaky fast tonight, Chase Elliott. Disaster on the 14 pit stop, lost a tremendous amount of spots.
Oh, no.
What happened? Oh, trouble in the right front. You see the sockets.
Oh, my gosh.
The tire changer grabs one up, a quick recovery to limit the damage, but some damage done. Big night in the Bass Pro Shop night race here at Bristol.
That spot is going to cost Chase Briscoe a lot of points, and we'll see if he can overcome that. He was only a few points to the good at the time of that caution as well. These cautions have not gone good for Briscoe. Lost some points at the end of stage 2 because of it, and now losing some track position. We'll see if he can get it back. A great battle for second going on right before the caution came out. There were like 4 cars under a blanket, 2nd through 5th. It's pretty much Larson and the rest of the field so far tonight, but you just never know with these pit stops. You know what could happen. Larson keeps winning the race off pit road. It really helped that time. There was a couple lap cars between 1st and 2nd, so he had a bit of a buffer when he came to pit road. They could have afforded a slightly slower stop. It still would have won the race out of the pits. That ended up not happening because Larson had a quicker stop than Truex by 1/10 of a second on top of having that gap. So easy race win off pit road for the 5-team yet again. But Larson going to be the leader on this next restart. We'll take an ad break while we await this next restart. Again, you're listening live on KRC to the Bass Pro Shops Bristol Night Race on KRC. Troy, thanks for tuning in. KRC does rule.
As we welcome you back to Bristol, if you are a Martin Truex Jr. fan,
Oh, no.
this Bass Pro Shops
Speeding.
we don't have good news for you. He just apologized to his
speeding.
team on the radio. He got caught speeding on pit road. The night was going so well. He was in the top 2. He was in the top 3. He was in the top 5. Let's eavesdrop on some radio.
Very good.
The 165 yard. I love that radio, the refocus, True Herring on the roof. That was the voice of the spotter. Say, hey man, we apologize later. Let's just get back to the attention. 165 to go. We have to make something happen. The 99 does not have the pace. It's on us. Let's try to find some points.
So, and what I need to know as a driver, okay, what do you need from me? I don't just tell me I have to go past as many cars as I can. I need to know how many spots I need to get this done. Give me a goal.
And unfortunately, when I look at the points, the goal is you need to get back to second. And I know that's a tall task, but that's what the math is saying. A lot can happen, but where everyone is running, it's going to require around a second place finish. But 164 will go at Bristol. Anything's possible. One of the big headline stories was, can Denny Hamlin win 3 here at Bristol in a
All right, green flag back in the air. Larson, another great restart. Outside row 1, I mean, that's just the control line, I guess, the controlled takeoff line. And Chase Elliott, in fact, his teammate outside row 2, going to get the second on the restart. Another car to the outside blowing around Hamlin, Bubba Wallace. Hamlin falls to 4th, but Hamlin plus 13 on the cut line with Truex having that speeding penalty. And Chase Briscoe dropping back in the running order as well after a slow pit stop. He's no longer in the top 10. Oh, big moment by Bubba. Off turn 4, had to lift. Hamlin going to get right back around him for 3rd. The 23 car was sideways. The 20 of Christopher Bell on Ryan Blaney in contact off turn 4 between the two cars. For Bell on Ryan Blaney in contact off turn 4 between the two cars. Blaney's got to be careful. He's only about 20 points to the good on the cut line right now. Don't want to ruin that. I think Hassler better calm that 12 car down. A little bit of contact on corner exit again between the 12 and the 20. Blaney not racing Bell very politely right now after Bell had chopped him off a couple corners ago. Byron Gibbs side by side for position a little bit further back. Gibbs is rocketing through the field in this restart. He is up to 8th now as he clears Byron. Back in prime position with Truex having the speeding penalty. Obviously missed out some stage points in stage 2 with the speeding penalty at that time, but been a long time coming to get him to where he's at right now. He's -4 on the cut line to Daniel Suarez, but he can gain 4 more spots. He's got speed in that 54 car. Has had it all weekend. Ever since practice yesterday afternoon where he was fastest. Bowman, Byron battling for a spot. Byron on the outside, Bowman on the inside. Byron in the worst shape as far as the cut line goes of trying to make it into the next round. He's even 20 points to the good right now, so very high probability all 4 Hendrick cars easily make it to the round of 12. I say that now. Hopefully they didn't put the hex on any of them. We know Bowman's automatically locked in on points. That we do know. But the 9 and 24, both in the top 10 right now as well. And obviously the 5 has been leading and already swept the first 2 stages. I think even if he gets in an incident, he'll be all right. Consider that some of the drivers right around the cut line, like a Daniel Suarez, a couple laps down. Burton practically out, if he isn't already. Keselowski, couple laps down. Martin Truex Jr. sets the restart 24th. Remember, he had to restart the tail end of the longest line because of the speeding penalty, so not just at the tail end of the lead lap. He is up to 24th. He has passed Keselowski and Stenhouse since the restart. Kyle Busch, first car lap down at the moment in 27th. And the 71 of Zane Smith was the driver who got the free pass during that lap 328 caution for Corey LaJoie. Since that crash, LaJoie is out of the race, I do believe. So 23 laps down and counting for LaJoie. Balicki will pass him in the running order here. Cascarales pulled back off the racetrack again. I believe Harrison Burton is back on the track at 77 laps down. A little less than 150 laps left here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. The Best Pro Shops night race, 2.5 lead for Kyle Larson over his teammate Chase Elliott. Highest we've seen Elliott in the running order so far tonight. Strong run for him. Denny Hamlin, 2 seconds back in 3rd. Christopher Bell 2.4 seconds back in fourth. Ryan Blaney 3 seconds off the lead in fifth. First time Blaney's been in the top 5. Chase Briscoe is in 6th place, 3.4 seconds off the lead, 4 seconds back. Bubba Wallace in 7th. Ty Gibbs 4.5 seconds off the lead in 8th. William Byron 5.1 seconds off the lead in 9th, and Alex Bowman 5.4 seconds back in 10th. That is the top 10. And the intervals between themselves and the current race leader, again, Kyle Larson. Oh boy, 3 wide and tight on the front stretch. Couldn't tell who that was. Riding along the front bumper cam of somebody else further back in the pack. But Kyle Larson continues on as the leader. Led over 1,200 laps at Bristol, most of any other track in his career. Over 300 laps led for Kyle Larson tonight alone at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Again, he has easily had the dominant car of the night. 320 laps led for Larson. Led 4 different times. The only reason he's led more than once is just because of the pit road sequence. Under caution is the reason why he didn't lead a few of those laps, since taking the lead initially at about lap 33 from Bowman, who started on the pole initially at the beginning of the race. Kyle Larson started second. Only 4 drivers to lead at least 1 lap. Larson, 3:22 and counting. 1 lap led for Bubba Wallace. 3 for Tyler Reddick. 34 for Alex Bowman. A little contact. Suarez into the left rear of Eric Jones. Almost turned him. All he did was slow himself and a few other cars down around him. Got passed by multiple cars to the outside. There was contact between Balicki and Jones. Jones was coming down the track to get away from the 66, and that's where he turned on the 99, and Suarez was all over him for about a half a lap after that. That might have actually cost Suarez a couple spots in the running order. He's 32nd, battling Jones for 31st. Knows how valuable these points are to try to get back. I mean, he's still a few points to the good on the cut line after the Truex penalty, and Gibbs still back in 8th. Now he's got a couple extra cars to try to pass, and he's about to lose another lap to Kyle Larson. Suarez in danger of going 3 laps down, with Larson all over his back bumper on lap 364. 2.1 second lead now for Larson. Commercial break on the USA Network. We'll go through the full field running order this time then. Get Kyle Larson the race leader. Chase Elliott is 2nd. Denny Hamlin 3rd. Christopher Bell in 4th. Chase Briscoe 5th. Ryan Blaney 6th. Bubba Wallace 7th. Ty Gibbs in 8th. Alex Bowman 9th. William Byron is 10th. Michael McDowell 11th. Ross Chastain 12th. Ryan Preece 13th. Noah Gragson 14th. And Chris Buescher is 15th. 16th for Austin Cindric. Carson Hocevar 17th. Tyler Reddick 18th. Zane Smith 19th. And Daniel Hemrick is 20th. Austin Dillon 21st. AJ Allmendinger 22nd. Justin Haley 23rd. Martin Truex Jr. 24th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 25th. Last car in the lead lap. Brad Keselowski in 26th. Kyle Busch 27th. 2 laps down. Ty Gillen 28th. Joey Logano 29th. Josh Berry 30th. Eric Jones 31st. Daniel Suarez 32nd. 33rd, John Hunter Nemechek, 7 laps down. Josh Balicki on track, 24 laps down at 34th. Corey LaJoie out of the race, 35th. Kaz Grala, 36th, out of the race. Harrison Burton, 77 laps down on track. Power steering issue in last, in 37th. Again, Larson, 331 laps led and counting from the 2nd place starting spot. 5 cautions today, 1 caution for incident in each stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. And then the 2 stage breaks, lap 125 and 250, have been our yellows. A little over 2 hours from the start of the race to where we're at right now, at 95.35 mile per hour average race speed, 129 laps to go at Bristol as we're in stage 3. You're listening live on KRC. EZE Network, thanks for tuning in recently. Sure to hit the like button on the stream if you haven't done so yet. We're currently at 85 likes. Hit that subscribe button if you have not done so yet as well. Also worth noting, with Kyle Larson winning the first 2 stages of the night, he now has the most stage wins of any driver on the season. It'll be his 11th and 12th stage wins of the year. And those are 2 more playoff points that carry over with him to the next round. So remember, he will be the #1 seed again when we reset the playoffs for the round of 12, and he adds 2 more points to that. Total could add another 5 if he wins the race as well. That could be a 7 playoff point performance today if he sweeps the stages. Definitely has the car to do so. See if they can stay ahead of the racetrack and stay ahead of the track position, as we still have 1 more pit stop more than likely from the finish. I think they were a little outside the fuel window with when we last pitted. We saw the value of at least tires of more than a 50-lap run based off of the restart from Reddick at the end of stage 2. That's why everybody pitted for tires when they did under the last caution, but that may not be the final stop. We get another yellow. They're definitely pitting. I think they're a little bit still outside the fuel window to make it to the end as well, which will be interesting if we do somehow stay green these final 160-plus laps from when we last restarted. 123 laps to go. Thanks for following along all stream long. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, live NASCAR commentary streams on every NASCAR race weekend, Truck Xfinity Cup races. Obviously, this is the main event this weekend, Bristol Motor Speedway Saturday night. The old Bristol night race. And as far as tomorrow's stream goes, we will have a NASCAR 07 stream. Not sure on the start time for that. I'll keep you posted in the community tab sometime tomorrow morning. It'll probably be a late afternoon or night stream, if I had to guess. And I'll give you, obviously, the schedule for the midweek streams as well as next weekend's live commentary stream. Kansas Speedway for the Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series. So all 3 series will be racing again next weekend. Just as we saw at Bristol, only instead of Thursday through Saturday, it'll be a Friday through Sunday set of action. I'll actually pull those start times up right now. Let you guys know. So next Friday night will be the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series stream. Again, Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern start time for that. Our Xfinity Series race coverage on Saturday afternoon will be at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll also, before that 4 p.m. Eastern start for the Xfinity race, we will have Cup practice and qualifying at 1 p.m. Eastern. That practice qualified all on the same stream. And the Cup race next Sunday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, will go live with our pre-race coverage. So those are the start times for next weekend. Again, all 3 series at Kansas. Elimination race for the round of 10 in the playoffs for the Truck Series. It'll be the playoff opener for the round of 12 for the Xfinity Series, and the second round opener of the round of 12 for the Cup Series. As the Xfinity and Cup Series will not have another off week, obviously, the rest of the year, and I believe the Trucks still have 2 more off weeks left this season. But we'll have a triple header next week and the week after that at Dega as well. So 1.7 second lead between the 2 HMS cars at the front of the field, Larson, Elliott. Top 5 has not changed order recently. In fact, that last lap at the line, Larson increases his lead. He was 0.3 of a second quicker than Elliott. Elliott struggled with that lap car he's around as of right now. He lost that much time in 1 lap to the race leader, Larson, ahead of him. So Larson 2.1 seconds ahead of Chase Elliott, who still remains in second. Denny Hamlin 2.5 seconds back in third, is closing on Elliott, for second place. Christopher Bell 2.7 seconds off the lead in fourth. Chase Briscoe 3.6 seconds back in fifth. So that's the top 5, the interval between those drivers as of right now. William Byron battling Michael McDowell for 10th. Was in 11th. He's going to get that spot back. Good run for McDowell tonight. Kind of a quietly good night. Top dozen for most of this race. No stage points, I don't believe, for McDowell, but looking for a top 10 finish perhaps if he keeps doing what he's doing right now. At least be close. "110 laps to go at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Yeah, Harrison Burton is still on the track. As he passed Kaz Grala in the running order, he'll end up passing Corey LaJoie if he stays in the race as well. Burton obviously eliminated for playoff contention, being 77 laps down where he's at right now, and being last on the playoff grid coming into the day. So no matter what happens to any other playoff drivers, if something else were to take any other ones out, Harrison Burton will be eliminated. Keselowski still trying to hold on for dear life. No stage points tonight. Spent most of this race a lap or two down. Final stage, he's back on the lead lap. Was at least. He's actually back a lap down again. So he didn't hold on to the lead lap for very long. And Daniel Suarez actually was able to get by Eric Jones for 31st during that last commercial break. So another point gain, another position gain for Suarez. Still plus 4 points over Ty Gibbs. Gibbs got to 8th on the restart after restarting in 11th, but he has not gained any other position since then. So Gibbs has to gain 4 more spots with where he's at right now to try to knock Suarez out of the playoffs. So that is the battle for the final spot as of right now, as we're nearing 400 laps complete at Bristol out of 500. 2.5 second lead for Larson over Elliott. I think that's his largest lead of the night. But he's just been gradually holding about a 1.5 to 2 second gap over these long runs that we've had so far today. Continues to obviously hold that lead and then some in stage 3. Gibbs is closing on Wallace for 7th. Wallace on the bottom of the racetrack, Gibbs up high. Looks like Ryan Blaney also running the bottom of the racetrack in the 6th place position. Blaney got passed by Briscoe somewhat recently for 5th. It might have been during that last commercial break. Blaney was in 5th for a minute. Briscoe is also closing in on Christopher Bell for 4th. Been running a couple tenths a lap quicker than him. Hamlin caught behind Daniel Suarez. He might be trying to hold Hamlin back, knowing that Hamlin's one of the bubble drivers. That could be a strategy at hand for the 99. Hamlin's definitely getting slowed up. He's got some points to give up. He's plus 9. Not that you would want to give them up in case Truex and Gibbs and those other guys behind him start gaining spots. Suarez even in front of him. So battle for 3rd going on here between Bell and Hamlin, as Hamlin stuck behind Suarez. Chase Briscoe also in that bubble battle. At plus 7 points above the cut line, right behind Hamlin. Bell almost clears the 11 on the bottom. Suarez holding his pace down enough. This is like that strategy from that NASCAR Busch Series Championship I had on NASCAR 7 about a month or two ago at Talladega. I was trying to hold Tony Stewart back. I didn't have a car capable of making the points up myself, so I was kind of trying to hold him back in traffic as much as I can. And we ended up winning the championship by 12 points at the end of it, despite the fact that I barely finished inside the top 20 of the race. Survive in advance. That's what Daniel Suarez is trying to do here tonight. And Kyle Larson's also caught Martin Truex Jr., who had that speeding penalty. Truex had been running in the top 5 for most of the night, but now back in traffic, having this long green flag run on top of it, he is about to go a lap down. And he's definitely not going to make this easy for Larson, but Larson is still consistently pulling away from Elliott. Even running where Truex is at. I mean, we know Truex has top 5 speed, so not sure that Larson is holding him back too much. Not like what Suarez is doing to Denny Hamlin. Hamlin's got to get around Daniel Suarez. He has struggled. A little contact as he got pinched nearly 3 wide. Briscoe's underneath him now. Bell has already surpassed and pulled away from the 11. See, this is interesting because now Suarez drops to the bottom in front of Briscoe. So it looks like Suarez is trying to keep the 11 and the 14 behind him. And Ryan Blaney now in the mix to the inside of the 14 of Briscoe. Briscoe all over the left rear quarter panel of Hamlin. And meanwhile, at the top of the screen on USA Network, Larson on the inside of Martin Truex Jr. side by side to put him a lap down. And Truex in 24th. Battles all over the racetrack on this long green flag run at the Bristol Motor Speedway. About 90 laps to go as of right now. Again, Kyle Larson is the race leader. Chase Elliott second, Christopher Bell third, Denny Hamlin fourth, Chase Briscoe in fifth, Ryan Blaney sixth, Bubba Wallace seventh, Alex Bowman eighth, Ty Gibbs ninth, Michael McDowell 10th. As a top 10 in the running order, again, 90 laps to go here at Bristol. We'll take a ad break of our own while we got a side-by-side commercial break. That'll let you listen into the USA Network coverage through to their next commercial break after that. You're listening live on KRC. Elimination race at Bristol, round of 16 playoffs for NASCAR. Hey, Sal Shire, thanks for tuning in. Tim Irvin, thanks for tuning in. This track is lame. Hey, man, it's not the track, it's the car. Don't hate on my Bristol. It's my baby. I don't have any kids, so the closest I have to having a kid is Bristol Motor Speedway. That's my child. Yeah, it's definitely the cars. I mean, we've seen races like this with zero fall off in the tires on short tracks with this next gen. Road courses and short tracks, it's just, I don't think it's not like the aerodynamics of the car as much as it is that the cars are so much more equal. That's what makes passing so much harder, in my opinion. The equalness and the on-throttle activity around these short tracks. I think the combination of those two things is what is the most difficult thing, I guess, to try to make passes on this style of racetrack. I mean, look at the lap times on our screen right now. Kyle Larson ran a 16.3, 16.2 for Elliott Bell, 16.1 for Hamlin. So about a 16.1 to 16.3, some of the fastest laps I've seen at the front of the field. Look at the lap times, 16, 17, 18. They're also running 16.3s. That's how equal the field is. And that's why if, somehow unequal strategy, which I don't think it's going to be possible because everybody's got pit for tires, because at least on this many lap difference in tires over longer green flag run will make a difference. We saw that with Reddick on the last, restart at the end of stage 2. But if those guys get track position somehow on equal tires, if it were to happen, they would hold on to the lead just like Larson is right now. I can almost guarantee it. Put Hocevar in the position Larson's at with Hocevar's car, and I think he holds on because the lap times are holding up.
Extended aerial coverage is brought to you by Traveler Whiskey. As we said.
You can see Truex was passed by Larson. Now Truex a lap down, and Truex driving away. I'm sorry, Larson driving away from Truex.
And Larson's on the inside of the Dinger, AJ Armendinger for Calling Racing, who finished 10th in the Xfinity Series race last night. So 80 to go from here. And the numbers are just staggering, Steve, for Larson. 381, about to be 382 laps left. Just in a league of his own.
Yeah, we've seen Larson lead a lot of laps, but not win races. And he knows it's been like that too. So he's got to still has to all work out.
A little further down the order, we were telling you the story about Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs got by Alex Bowman. He's up to 8. He's still working on Bubba Wallace. There is the 54.
That 99 car, they made their car better. And that 4 car, Josh Berry, that is for position. Now look, it's for 30th, but that's a point.
So is it the 22 as well, Jeff? You mentioned it when he was beating and banging with the 43. They needed to just try to worry about the cars they could pass. The 4 and the 22 are both positions.
They definitely made the 99 better. Josh Berry up the racetrack, not able to get underneath him.
Well, let's continue the conversation about the freeway.com machine of Daniel Suarez, Marty.
A moment ago, Daniel Suarez told NASCAR Virginia's crew chief, he said, we're better, but not much. So there's the answer to what you guys were asking. And they did tell him, hey, those 2 spots in front of you, those are 4 positions. So if you can go get those, you'll see Suarez go even further above the cut line. But he also knows the guy who's racing right behind him, Ty Gibbs, clearly has a very fast car and more cars to pass tonight, Parker.
For William Howard, who quickly runs 17th. Moments ago, he was in that 10. He was plus 20 above the cut line. Now he's going to 17 above the cut line. And he was wondering, should he be worried? Take a listen. You know, there's some sweet clears in here. Basically, we're all good there for the 2014 at plus 17. As long as something catastrophic doesn't happen, they're in a good position. But it's interesting to hear these drivers counting those points inside the car, wondering exactly where they're at.
And Jeff, how reassuring is that from the driver's seat, just to know what the bigger picture looks like?
Well, it's to know how many points you have to the good is a great, that makes you feel great, but you know it's not over. You know anything can happen. You've seen it before. Get one caution. All the everything changes then. So, yeah, you're in great shape now. Don't do anything to put yourself in jeopardy.
Okay, let's add another name to the list of drivers who have advanced to the round of 12. No great surprise for the man who's been out front for almost 400 laps. Kyle Larson has now advanced to the next round. Joining tonight, Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman, and of course the Atlanta winner, Joey Logano. So the picture for the round of 12, Stevie's getting clearer and clearer. Or is it?
Well, it's
with Daniel Suarez and Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, it's clearer at the top, but as Jeff says, it can kind of switch in the blink of an eye, and that's really the point of this situation. We can count positions and points, but as you see these 2 races racing each other, it matters. Ricky Stenhouse, the 47 now on pit road, that matters because that's a position that Suarez on the racetrack could get. Those are the things that we talk about. You know, this isn't a stick and ball sport where it's 2 drivers just battling one another. Every other driver on the racetrack affects these mathematical equations. So, Jeff, that's why he's been preaching all night for the 99 to stay focused and keep gaining what points he can. Yeah, the other guy, Brad Keselowski, he stayed out to try to get back in the lead lap. You know, so he pitted back on lap 245, so he doesn't have a whole lot of fuel left. He'll come on pit road soon, possibly as well, and that could be another position.
Castrol Air, John Boyd shows us the view for Brad Keselowski, multi-time winner here in Bristol, but has been pretty much up against it ever since qualifying and knew that he was in for a tough night. Yeah. Tell us more, Marty.
About 9 laps to answer Jeff's question until Brad Keselowski comes to pit road. You watch Matt McCall on the pit box right there, bottom left of your screen. I talked to him when they made that decision to take the wave around and not pit when everybody else came down pit road to be able to make it to the end of the race. Steve, he said, simply put, that was my only option. That was my only play. So if they have to come down under green here, that's effectively going to end their playoff hopes, you think, Steve, because they're already 36 below the cut line. They'll go multiple laps down.
Yeah, green flag pit stop would be the end of the playoff chances for the 6th, but I have to agree with McCall. I appreciate understanding the situation, Jeff, and you know, don't roll over. Keep fighting, keep doing whatever's possible. I'd like to call. This is just one race of 3. It's just the playoffs of a regular season. More wins during the regular season, more playoff points, more, you know, better runs at either Atlanta or Watkins Glen. A lot goes into this, but I do appreciate the effort of a little bit of a Hail Mary here, and all it would have taken was one timely yellow.
And while we were watching all of that, Kyle Larson just made another milestone of this race. 400 laps led. We told you
My goodness.
had led 300. Last driver to do that was Kyle Busch some 15 years ago. Well, the last driver to lead 400 laps, by the way, also Kyle Busch, 16 years ago. It's been the Larson show here in Bristol under the lights. And he's clinched his way to advance through to the round of 12 by being the car to beat.
Daniel Hemrick in this 31 car, he's 21st place. So that shows you how good of a run Kyle Larson has had to lap up to there. And Tyler Reddick right in front of him in 20th.
Reddick currently 9th, 16 points above the cut line with 57 laps left. 57 to go. My eyes are on the 54 of Ty Gibbs. I believe he's the driver that has the ability to find 4 points. Easier said than done, but 4 positions on the racetrack is what he's looking for.
I don't think he can do it without a caution. He's 5 seconds behind Hamlin at 4th.
So it's funny because Suarez is who he's racing. So this battle for the 99 is for more than just position, right? And the 99 is running defense on points. If he can't get by Suarez, he can't get by the other cars in the lead lap and to gain points.
Todd Gillen, he came to pit road. Brad Keselowski coming to pit road.
These cars pitting should come out behind Suarez. So Suarez is going to get a more comfortable margin, not by doing anything other than running his own race.
Now they're going to have new tires, and they're going to have a lot of pace here. So how many laps can they get back? Todd Gillen as well as Keselowski.
I just don't know if you can get enough. I agree there's more pace, 3 or 4 tenths of a second a lap in traffic, but it's going to be interesting to see for sure.
And the 99 is 3 down.
Yeah,
They're only 1 down. So
Speaking about being laps down, how about that? Lawson just went by Reddick to put the regular season champion a lap down.
the good thing Suarez has going for him is that now he's 5 points to the good. With Eric Jones, who he's raced with all night, he's behind him. He's the only guy 3 laps down, with the 99. So he doesn't have many positions to lose. Ty has to go get some positions.
Yeah, Keselowski actually pitted and returned to the racetrack on the same lap of Suarez, but in front of him with those newer tires.
Right.
So that's a non-factor. Suarez definitely isn't going to run a guy down on new tires.
So Eric Jones and Todd Gilliland, they're the 2 guys behind Suarez that could catch him and pass him and drop him down 2 points. That's about all they assuming nothing happens. That's about all they can lose.
2 cars that you see here on screen. One is 5 above, the other is 5 below that all-important elimination line. All to play for over these closing 48 laps at Bristol Motor Speedway.
And as crazy as it sounds, Ty Gibbs getting between the 99 and the 4. That could be a position that the 99 can't get from the 4.
Suarez has been really determined in this 3rd and final stage. You guys made the point that they did something. Trackhouse made some adjustments to make that car better for Daniel. And it's been a really resilient run. It hasn't been a glamorous run, when you're running down in 30th place, but it's been a resilient one to try and keep his place in the top 12, to advance to the round of 12. This is the most progress that Gibbs has made, as it looks like a positional change is looming. And then yet the 99 still comes back.
See tight battling as well between Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell for 3rd. So as we continue to battle Ty Gibbs trying to gain those points, other playoff drivers to keep in mind, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, if they run 5th or better, it doesn't matter what anyone else does. That matters because, an issue, and they're going to lose a bunch of spots, and they would be below the cut line in front of them. Ryan Blaney, who's currently running 6th, he just has to run 23rd. William Byron, 23rd. Chase Elliott, 25th. So that matters because with 18 cars in the lead lap, those cars like Blaney, like Elliott, as long as they don't have a catastrophic flat tire or have to come to pit road, they can lose a few positions, still be safe. It's Briscoe and Hamlin who cannot afford to lose a bunch of spots.
This is just not going away. Well, the 99 and the 54.
No, it is a tight battle, and the 41 car coming into play, and he's trying to get by the 54 in position.
41.
So now that's a position loss for Ty Gibbs. Now he's 6 points behind. I think Ty's car is gone the wrong way, and in front of Ty Gibbs, there's no one. I mean, the next guy, look, there's right here.
Yep. And behind, you saw Alex Bowman actually starting to catch the 54 of Gibbs. So that's going to further compound those issues. Tell us more, Kim.
Yeah, you heard him say it close, but we have to look at this round collectively, and that's what Chief Chris Gale told me. They should have gotten more points in Atlanta. He said he felt like they left 10 points on the table, and then he was honest and said our cars were not as good as they should have been last weekend at Watkins Glen. So they take some responsibility and collectively looking this round. Ty, very good here, had an early speeding penalty, but right now, Marty sits 6 points below that elimination line.
Boy, Jim, this is fascinating. For the car in 30th, 3 laps down, advanced to the next round. Here was the update a moment ago to Daniel Jordan's.
I'm gonna go on 50. They're in. I'm behind him here. Next car we're gonna pass is way up the road. Need to go green to the end. That's a critical part.
And I go back to the work they did in the first 2 races of this round. They came in with a 36-point cushion. Could that save Daniel Suarez tonight? And Steve, to the point of Spotter made just a moment ago, he said it's critical. It goes green to the end for us on the 99. Why is that?
Well, because they don't understand the situation, but the problem is as soon as you get a yellow, the 99, as Jeff has pointed out, can only find 2 or 3 points, where Ty Gibbs running 10th can find 7, 8, 9 points. So you do not want the leaders to come down pit road and kind of jumble up the field. Suarez has less upside than the 54.
And 54 is going the wrong way. Yeah. We just saw him lose several positions. Now the one of Chastain has got by him. McDowell is right behind the 54. So we heard the report that he's gone loose. And with that lack of rear grip, there goes the speed.
If Daniel Suarez can hang on, as here comes Michael McDowell, if Suarez can hang on, this is going to be like running a marathon with no shoes on for the last 5 miles. It's going to be painful. It won't be pretty.
That's a interesting analogy.
You're not proud of the run, but it accomplished what you needed.
Well, and it goes to what he did in the regular season to get himself locked in, right? And then also the performance that he had in the first 2 races. And he built up enough points to give him enough cushion to go run. You know, he finished 2nd at Atlanta, 13th at Watkins Glen. Remember, he was stuck in the sand pit at Watkins Glen.
And he was a lap down in the 30s at Watkins Glen and stuck in the sand trap.
You can never quit.
Be hard. I don't want to come more. So whatever you're gonna do here.
Jeff, you said as a driver you like direction, and they're doing that for the 99 of Suarez, trying to give him the hope that they really do have, right? This isn't false hope. This is the reality of the situation. Lost some laps. I almost like the update of, hey, we're not really looking for the 4 in front anymore. Just kind of put your mittens on and ride this thing out for 28 laps. Now's not the time to gain an extra spot. It's unnecessary.
Well, the game's changed with the 54 struggle.
Exactly.
Right? That's now the 10 car. The 10 of Gregson. Now he is under the 54. So they're watching that. The 54 is struggling. We just need to not cause a caution here.
136 lap green flag run, the longest of the day, was still 27 to go. These are on the same Goodyear tires that couldn't run 60 laps in the spring. It's extraordinary the difference between the 2 races this year. Stevie, you had your illustrious career in Hendrick Motorsports. Here's one for you. With Kyle Larson leading 435 laps, that is the most laps led in a race ever by any Hendrick Motorsports driver. Now that's quite a stat when you think about the list of Hall of Famers that have driven there. And it's staggering. Like Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson's dominance at Martinsville, a track where you could lead 400 and something laps. So for Kyle Larson to pull that off, well, there you go. Jeff Gordon, Martinsville, 97. And then Dover in 95. I'll give you a hint how many laps that race was. So, I mean, think about that. It's just some impressive performances in Larson.
90s Jeff Gordon was on another level.
Let's talk more about Denny Hamlin. It was one of the big headlines, Marty, coming into this race.
He was the focus of everybody league coming in below the cut line, but Hamlin right now on the right side of it, plus 14. They're just hoping this race plays out the way it is. Hamlin is starting to come around a little bit much later in this run for Hamlin. And a moment ago, his spotter, Chris Lambert, was giving him a lap count down. Denny, very matter of fact, said, I do not need a lap count. You can tell, Ken, he's focused inside the car, and right now, looks like he could advance sitting in third.
Also looking to advance Chase Briscoe. He currently sits in the 6th position, and he's had a solid day, but enough hiccups to make you sweat a little bit. You think about the early issue with his rear view camera failing. Then he had smoke in the cockpit when he used his brake pads. Then they had a very slow pit stop. Chase has kept his head in this game. His crew chief Richard Boswell told me this is probably one of his best racetracks. He's got a knack on how to make speed here. That was true in the Xfinity Series. That's also true in the Cup Series here at Bristol. Right now, the team has told Chase that currently he is plus 11. So pick and choose your battles for these next 19 laps.
He said they could do it, and he's driving his way towards the round of 12 and then looking towards the rest of the 2024 season. And look at this, a car and a driver trying to make it into the round of 12.
Oh, Gibbs going a lap down.
Just goes a lap down. There is no stopping Kyle Larson here tonight. That's a big moment for the 54 because now even the yellow, while he would probably get the free pass, it'll be tail end of the field. So just his opportunity to gain points is dwindling.
Yeah, if 5 gets by, one more car, then he doesn't even have that opportunity. So, yes, that is a huge to go that lap down.
And think about the nights, right? For both Gibbs and Truex Jr., the first 2 drivers below the cut line, both had hope to eliminate this 99. Both speeding on pit road. The 54 earlier in the race. The 19 is Joe Gibbs' racing teammate later in the race. The 19 has just not had their best stuff. Yet the 54 and the 19 couldn't capitalize. Only 12 cars, by the way, with 14 laps to go. 12 cars on the lead lap.
Well, it's going to be a very tough Sunday. When you had the guy you had to beat, one of the guys you had to beat finished 30th, and you couldn't find a way to do it, that is going to be very difficult to process that tomorrow.
Dick, you said that how many cars won the lead lap. We've talked a lot about the playoff cars, but it's worth just mentioning. Bubba Wallace, 5th, non-playoff driver. Ryan Preece, 8th. Chastain, 10th. McDowell and Gregson, just now the first car 1 lap down. Great runs for McDowell, Gregson, Preece. Right there. There's Noah Gregson. I don't think we said his name much tonight. Super impressive, very clean night. He's the first car 1 lap down in 12th.
This is the longest green flag run since 2012 here at Bristol.
My goodness. There's some big numbers being racked up here tonight. Under the lights at Bristol. 10 to go from here. 10 to go, and your physical fitness is at a test. 41 minutes of green flag racing. 41 minutes of 16-second laps. Basically 4 seconds on the straightaway, and you're into the high banks again. Vertical loading. Jeff, I know these drivers are fit, and the seats are custom made. The headrests are there. But this has to be a mental and physical challenge as the 54 is shoving the 43 out of the way. So there was contact between the 99 and the 43, Suarez and Jones, and now it's Gibbs and Jones getting after it in the closing 9 laps. I think that's the frustration boiling over behind the wheel of the 54. What a year this year has been for Daniel Suarez. If things stay as they are, he will make it. He will make it to the round of 12. He won a race by thousandths of a second at Atlanta. He got married. He won a race, a NASCAR stock car race in Brazil, and became a United States citizen. And could drive his way from 30th. It's a wacky story from 30th into the round of 12.
And if you can do that, maybe it just feels like it's your year.
Yes.
So maybe it just feels like, hey, this is my year. We found a way to dodge the bullet because every team is going to have a bad race. Every team is going to have struggles. It is tournament racing, right? And you got to find a way to overcome it when things aren't going well.
Well, advancing makes it feel like your year, leading over 460 laps and winning the race. That's got to be just an absolute huge step of motivation. Let's listen in the 5 of Larson. I love it. Larson, we talked to all these drivers when the playoffs started, and he talked a lot about managing mistakes, avoiding accidents. He knows the pace is there. A monster year. He got to try the Indy 500, run the double. That almost cost him, or did really cost him, the regular season championship and some playoff points, making up for it all tonight. He's going to do it again next year as well. He will do the Indy 500 Coke 600 double. He had that huge crash at Atlanta Motor Speedway to begin the playoffs.
White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for Kyle Larson at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Lap in the lead going to this one. Over a 6.5 second lead. Checkered flag in the air now. Larson wins in dominating fashion at Bristol. Over 400 laps led. My goodness, we haven't seen anything like this in NASCAR in quite some time. Seven-second margin of victory for Kyle Larson over teammate Chase Elliott. Larson leads 462 of 500 laps. So over 90% of this race he ended up leading. And again, 10 cars finished on the lead lap. 2 hours, 37 minutes, 53 seconds total time on this race. Very quick one here tonight at Bristol. 99.81 mile per hour average race speed. And you'll get to hear some post-race interviews from, of course, race winner Kyle Larson and some of the other top finishers, drivers who advanced to the next round of the playoffs, maybe ones that were eliminated as well. Not many lead changes, only 4 different drivers led today. 1 lap for Bubba Wallace under caution, 3 laps under caution for Tyler Reddick. 34 laps led for pole sitter Alex Bowman. And nobody passed Larson on track under green when he had initially taken the lead all the way back at lap 33. Dominating race here for Larson after starting second. Those 4 different drivers led at least 1 lap in the race today. Just 8 lead changes total in this one as well. 5 cautions, which is less than we had in the entire Xfinity and truck races this weekend. And 1 caution for incident in Stage 1, Stage 2, and Stage 3. 2 stage ends, bringing out the total of 5 yellows. So again, Kyle Larson, your race winner here in this one. We'll go over the rest of the finishing results once we get your interview from the race winner.
Yeah.
No burnout, but a lifetime memory for the Larson family. As Owen and Dad stand on top of the car. What an emphatic statement win for Kyle Larson and the 5 team leading all but 38 laps tonight. He called it complete domination. Kyle, you've had a lot of good cars in your career, but is that the best car maybe you've ever had?
I've had a lot of good cars since I've come to Hendrick Motorsports, so it's tough to say. But man, that was just great execution all weekend by the team. You know, practice good. You got to qualify good. We did that, and yeah, just had a great car. So thanks to the whole 5 team. They're the best in the business, and we dominate a lot of races, but we might not close them all out. So it feels really good to close one out here in this InterCars.com Chevy. We got Rick Hendrick here today too. He hasn't been to many of these races this year, and Daryl Jackson, he's our hype man. He's here as well. So great, you know, just phenomenal car. Could kind of manage my stuff, and then you know, really pass some cars there at the end.
In front of these Bristol fans, I want to put this win in context. Most laps ever led by a Hendrick Motorsports driver in a race, beating drivers like Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson.
That's pretty awesome. That's really cool because, as you mentioned, I mean, there's been some legendary Hall of Famers race for Hendrick Motorsports, and we've all grown up watching Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson dominate. So pretty cool to add my name to another record at Hendrick Motorsports. And again, just very fortunate to be with that group. Chevrolet, Junior Almenbar, Prime, everybody involved, Abilene. It's so much fun, and especially racing in front of you fans here under the lights at Bristol. This is this is my favorite track, and I hope you guys enjoyed that race there and enjoyed the methodical lap traffic run.
How cool was it?
Yeah, it's great. You know, we had a little boys' weekend here this weekend. Caitlin, hi to you, and Audrey and Cooper, they're at home right now. So we'll have a long drive home tonight, but we'll bring some hardware home too.
Kyle Larson with an absolutely dominant performance in front of the Bristol fans, and he gets to celebrate with young Owen, who's going to get a ride to the elevated victory lane here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
How about that? And the flip side of the emotion and the reality of those advancing to the round of 12 and those who do not, who had a tougher night here in Bristol. The Harrison Burton, Martin Truex Jr. and Ty Gibbs and Brad Keselowski. The playoffs are over for them. Looking through.
We'll go over the finishing results to this one. Again, a 7-second margin of victory for Kyle Larson over Chase Elliott in second. And once again, 462 laps led for Larson here today out of 500. Led all but 38 of the 500 laps. Again, Chase Elliott finishes in second place here in this one. It does advance to the next round of the playoffs. Bubba Wallace finishes third. Highest finishing non-playoff driver, only one of which in the top 5. Denny Hamlin finishes fourth, advances to the next round. Christopher Bell finishes fifth, also advances to the round of 12. Ryan Blaney finishes sixth, advances to the round of 12. Ryan Preece finishes seventh. He had a quiet night. I actually didn't realize he was passing Gibbs for position in the top 10 in the last 50 laps until he said it on the broadcast. And I'm like, what, Ryan Preece? I thought he was a lap down when he was past him. And like, and that pass is a point that Gibbs is going to lose. And then I'm like, wait, what? Ryan Preece is in the top 10? Yes, Ryan Preece finishes seventh. He actually ended up finishing better than Chase Briscoe, ended up 8th. Briscoe with the 8th place run and all the stage points he scored today does advance to the next round as well. Alex Bowman, 9th place finish, advances to the round of 12. Ross Chastain last car in the lead lap, finishing in 10th. First car lap down at 11th. Michael McDowell, Noah Gragson 12th. Austin Cindric 13th, advances to the round of 12. Chris Buescher 14th. Ty Gibbs 15th is eliminated. He was the first driver below the cut line. Zane Smith finishes 16th. William Byron 17th, advances to the next round. Carson Hocevar 18th. Daniel Hemrick 19th. Tyler Reddick 20th, also advances to the next round. So he's back to the number 3 seed again as the regular season champ. Austin Dillon ends up finishing 21st. Justin Haley 22nd. AJ Allmendinger 23rd. Martin Truex Jr. 24th, also eliminated from the playoffs. Kyle Busch 25th. Brad Keselowski 26th was eliminated tonight from the postseason. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 27th. Joey Logano obviously advanced to the next round with a win at Atlanta. Josh Berry 29th. Eric Jones 30th. Daniel Suarez 31st. Was the last driver above the cutoff line when the checkered flag flew tonight, but he does advance to the round of 12. Ty Gillen 32nd place finish. John Hunter Nemechek 33rd. Josh Bilicki 34th. Harrison Burton 35th with the power steering issue. Ended up 78 laps down, but did finish the race, so credit to him for sticking it out and grinding it out to the finish. Harrison Burton is definitely going to be tired tomorrow. He does also get eliminated. He was the last of the 4 drivers that were eliminated today. Corey LaJoie ends up 36th, crashed out in this one in the early going to stage 3. Kaz Grala DNF'd in this one as well. Had some sort of a mechanical issue in stage 3. So only 2 DNFs tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. Again, only 3 cautions per incident, 5 cautions total in the race. I paused the TV broadcast. There will be more interviews, so if I ended up missing them, for those of you that are actually watching on USA Network, we will get to those interviews, but I wanted to pause it while they had the point standings up on screen. Kyle Larson, obviously resetting, will be the number 1 seed yet again, and he adds 7 more playoff points to that total playoff points he already had because he wins tonight and wins both stages. So he is plus 39 points to begin the round of 8. Christopher Bell, or round of 12, excuse me. Christopher Bell will be plus 24 points in the number 2 seed. Tyler Reddick, the regular season champ, plus 20 points. William Byron, plus 14. Ryan Blaney, plus 11. Plus 7 for Denny Hamlin. Plus 6 for Chase Elliott. Joey Logano, plus 4, will be the last driver above the cut line in 8th. Austin Cindric, minus 4, first driver out to begin the next round. Daniel Suarez, minus 6. Minus 7 for Alex Bowman and Chase Briscoe. Again, the 3 races in the next round of playoffs: Kansas, Talladega, and the Charlotte Roval. Fast forward to the next interview. Ty Gibbs was up next.
15th position, unfortunately does not make it into the round of 12. A speeding penalty, I know towards the end there you said you killed your right rear tire. How do you come to terms with how this race played out for you and the team?
Yeah, it was just unfortunate there. We're really good. It's a wall flying just a little bit too loose tonight. Fire off too tight, so just unfortunate. Seeing penalties on me. Just we're running the lights so close, and I just got a little bit too much, I guess, and got fault. Unfortunate. Proud of these guys, all the effort that they've given me, and we'll keep hammering down.
How do you describe the emotion you're feeling right now?
Unfortunate.
Disappointing night for Ty Gibbs.
Daniel Suarez finishes 31st, but more importantly, advances the round of 12. It wasn't pretty. It looked like a struggle, but she advanced.
It was a struggle, Parker. Since yesterday when we unload the car for first practice, we just didn't have a speed, and as you know, with a short amount of practice, qualify and go to a race, if you don't have a speed out of the trailer, it's very, very difficult to bring it back to speed. So we made it better, but it wasn't good enough. We were running 30th, 28th, 32nd all night long, and that's what we had. Luckily we had a great Atlanta, decent Watkins lane after, a broken wheel, and we're able to build a cushion, and we definitely use every single point out of that cushion.
Take me to the emotions when you were in that race at one point there in 30th, laps down. You guys were right on the cut line. What were you thinking those times?
I can only control so much, I can only control what the 99 car can do, and everything else is out of my hands. At one point there, I felt bad for the 54 because I had to hold him back quite a bit, and he got past, but I had to do that. I wasn't fast enough to run away from him, so I had to play game to be able to affect him as much as possible in a clean way. So yeah, luckily it worked out good. Relax a little bit and focus on the next run.
Daniel Suarez and his 99 team advances to round of 12. It wasn't pretty. They got done.
He sure got it done, Parker. And Jeff, as you mentioned earlier, just what you do. This is what the playoff format is like.
All right, I'll mute it and then try to fast forward. If we get another interview, you'll get to listen in again. Might be going to another commercial break. Yeah, I think they did. I'll have to jump to live. All right, so they are on a commercial break as I've jumped back to live. We've gone through the finishing order, the playoff standings to begin the next round. Only other thing, pre-race predictions, pre-playoff predictions, who I had eliminated. So Harrison Burton I got right on the elimination side of things. Brad Keselowski actually had as the last driver in. He ended up missing. I did not have Austin Cindric out of the playoffs, or I had Austin Cindric out of the playoffs in this round, and he obviously advances. So I think the only one I actually got right was Harrison Burton of the drivers that I had predicted eliminated in this round. So my championship 4 is still intact. Larson, Reddick, Blaney, and Blaney, and Bell. And Bell, my championship pick. And they all pretty easily advanced. All had top 10 runs tonight. I think Blaney would have been last of those 4 drivers in this round. No, Reddick would have been last of those guys in this round of the playoffs, but still advanced plus 13. Good thing he won that regular season championship, though. The extra 15 playoff points. That's literally the reason why he does advance. So goes to show winning the regular season championship is very important because Reddick did not have a good round. I think he finished outside the top 15 in all 3 races. So kudos to him for what he did in the first 26 races, allows him to advance through the first round here and the next 3 after the first 26. So next weekend's race at Kansas Speedway will be the next one for the NASCAR Cup Series. We'll go over those start times in a little bit. We'll go through the Fantasy League here next on the channel. Again, you can join on the NASCAR mobile app, NASCAR.com website. Chance to win 2 tickets to any NASCAR race of your choosing. If you win our league championship, playoff, and or regular season. Can't win it this year, obviously, because the playoffs have already began, but you'll be in the league for when we restart things again next year. So again, KRC League is where you'll want to join for that. Free to sign up. All you got to do is be a subscriber of the champion to be entered in a chance to win those tickets if you win our league title. We'll take a look at those fantasy standings. Take a look at how my fantasy team did. Pretty much my prediction for all the drivers to run well tonight. I think the entirety of my team finished top 10, except for, let me check that real quick. Bowman might have been the only one that didn't finish top 10. No, he did. Yeah, ninth. So ninth place, Alex Bowman was my worst finisher. Gibbs was in my garage. Good thing I put him there. That was after the speeding penalty in stage 2. So I had Bowman, Bell, Hamlin, Truex, Larson. I guess Truex looks like he outscored Gibbs. So Truex was actually the only driver outside the top 10. He also had a speeding penalty his later in the race in stage 3. As far as the head-to-head picks, I had Hamlin predicted to win the race, so he obviously did not beat Kyle Larson. Finished in 4th. Brad Keselowski over Truex. I don't even know why I had that. But Truex on my fantasy team. That was just dumb on my behalf. Gibbs over Briscoe because the JGR Toyotas just looked quick this weekend, and Gibbs had the speeding penalty. It would have been close without the speeding penalty. I mean, he was actually technically ahead of Briscoe, got passed by him in the middle of that final stage, and I had Elliott over Blaney, so only getting 10 bonus points today, so I don't think I won. That and Truex not having a great finish. Finished 8th this week with 232 points. Dale 30 wins our league this week with 266 points. Nathan Daniel Powers in second with 261, 252, tied for third between Hercules Harrigan and Inside Uranus. Troy the Great finishes 5th with 246 points. We'll see who Dale 30 had on his team. Let's see here. Chase Briscoe, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson all finished in the top 8. So good job for him. And Busch was in his garage. His head-to-head picks. Looks like he went 4 for 4 in the head-to-head picks. That's huge. Yeah, 262 points is a lot. 266, excuse me, is a lot. So congratulations to him. Here's an interview. Kligerman standing with Denny Hamlin.
My aspirations was to win it, but it looked like the 5 there just was better than all of us. And yeah, solid car. I thought we were really good towards the middle stages. And then there at the end just got too loose and couldn't hang on to kind of what we had there. But overall, top 5 day, good stage points, kind of in the mix, just not really, as good as what we've been here the last couple times. But overall, I thank this whole FedEx Toyota team for giving me something I can move on with.
After the way this playoff started, does this feel a bit like a reset for you guys to have a good run again? Finally, now go to the round of 12?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's all offense from this point forward. So, yeah, we've gone to Kansas track we've been really, really good at. And, I'm looking forward to the rest of the run.
Danny Hamlin's chip hope stay alive.
And Martin Truex Jr. unfortunately will not move on to the round of 12. Had a speeding penalty, and we heard the disappointment on the radio. Taking responsibility for that, how hard is it?
It's really tough, when it's 0.09 miles per hour that, kind of screws your whole chance at a good season up. So, I don't know how that happened. I didn't know I was even that close. Honestly, I felt like I did the same thing as every other stop, but sometimes you're just a foot, maybe I was a foot to the left, or it's so tricky when you're going from that curve section to the straight to get your lights. And it's on me. Obviously it's my mistake. So, they said that we were going to have third year to have a chance, and I don't know if we could have done it, but it would have been nice to see. And, just really, sad for my guys. They worked so hard, and, we had a really strong car tonight, and we did, we got a lot of stage points. We did what we needed there. Just, hate I screwed it up. I wish we could at least seen if we could have done it. It would have been fun to have a fighting chance, but from here we'll just go on and try to race hard and hopefully get back to victory lane before it's all said and done.
So you're sad for your guys, but what about you? This is your last full-time season. How much does that add to the disappointment of tonight?
You never like to let anybody down, no matter what the situation. So I hate that I did that tonight.
Well, you can hear the emotion from Martin Truex Jr. and earlier from his teammate Ty Gibb.
Alrighty, so we'll go over next weekend's live commentary streaming schedule. I'll mention it during the middle of the race, but in case you missed it, we'll have our next live commentary stream Friday night next week, 8:30 p.m. Eastern start time for that one. Again, Truck Series race, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Friday night at the Kansas Speedway. Doubleheader again on Saturday. Live commentary coverage of NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying also from Kansas will begin at 1 p.m. Eastern in the afternoon, followed by the Xfinity Series race at 4 p.m. Eastern that same Saturday. On Sunday, the main event next weekend for the NASCAR Cup Series, the round of 12 opener for the playoffs in that second round. And that will begin at 2:30 p.m. Eastern with our coverage with the pre-race next week. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight's coverage of the Bass Pro Shops Bristol night race for the NASCAR Cup Series. Still got 7 races to go in 2024. Hope to see you for all of them. Appreciate it as always. Hit the like button on the stream if you haven't yet. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Let's see how many likes we're up to on the stream. We just hit 100, so appreciate that. At 101 likes currently, so be sure again to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Thanks as always. Appreciate your support. Hopefully, again, you enjoyed the commentary. Glad we didn't have any of the lagging glitches tonight. Luckily, I got that fixed. I know the stream got delayed about 20 minutes of me trying to still fix it. Same issue we had during the Xfinity and the practice qualifying stream yesterday afternoon, but luckily I did get it fixed. So I'm not a tech wizard. That's why it took me as long as it did. But over an hour's worth of work before the stream started. Luckily, I got it up and running, and we didn't miss a beat here today. So appreciate it as always. Again, we'll be live tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night. Not sure on the start time for the gaming streams this week, but I'll keep you posted in the community tab. And obviously, if you didn't hear me already on the live commentary schedule next week, I'll put that in the community tab as well. Hope to see you then. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of your Saturday night. Go Blue.